What's up, family? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's popping? Welcome to another episode of the All Knicked Up podcast. We're about to get into what is the NBA 2024 draft. We have a lot of exciting fun tonight. We also got some exciting news regarding the Knicks. We will touch on that in a little bit, but we can see the draft. We see Adam Silverman's up there with his little bald head, so we're just going to start bringing in the rest of the bald-headed crew to kind of join him. I'm going to bring in my man, Jonathan Clark. Jonathan, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, people? It's draft night. It's draft night, baby.
Yes, sir. What they say, put two on me. That's what they say. Come on, come on. So we're going to bring in Mr. Upstate Joe. What's poppin', Mr. Joe? Mr. Joe, what's good, baby?
Draft night, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're sitting here looking. Adam Silver's up there. Ichabod Crane himself. We're going to see. We see a lot of nervous young men. Adam Sarr sitting here. Alex Sarr, I should say. Looking a little nervous with his little tight suit on. We're going to get into this thing, that's for sure.
Well, you know what they say about the bald head crew. It's causing all the crazy brainwave energy going on in the big brains.
Yeah.
It's all that foil action, too.
The hair can't survive in that kind of energy, man.
Yeah, we're the head domes in charge. They got to recognize that. So we know that Atlanta, I think, is going to be the first pick tonight.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on the show. They're a little bit excited. They haven't been relevant in a couple of years, so that doesn't help either. You know, ever since they beat our Knicks a couple of years ago, you know, everybody was having all the fanfare and love for Trae Young. You know, Mr. Ballhead himself, and you know, little chia pet on the top of the head. You know how it is. He join the ball-headed crew. That's what he needs to do. Come around, brother. They were on the clock, and you know, this first pick has been controversial. A lot of people didn't know what direction they're going to head in. You know, we have Zachary Richard, I guess, whatever you want to say it. He's French. We know New York Knicks fans don't want anybody French except French fries. We don't do the French thing no more.
There's a lot of French dudes in this draft too.
Yeah, definitely. But this kid, Zachary Richard, he looks like he's a baller. I did like watching his game. He's got a very aggressive style. Has a lot of tenacity to his game. You know, a lot of energy. Kind of like that. I would like that pick for Atlanta if they were to take that pick if I was on the clock. But we'll see what they actually do. A little bit of Knick news while we're sitting here. You know, for New York Knicks fans, we've had a couple of signings clearly in the off. Well, we had a trade and a signing. Let's get into this one dude here who we're talking about. We got to welcome Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks.
Yeah, big move. A
huge move. We're talking 5 picks, but the Knicks got the guy they probably should have drafted during the Kevin Knox class, which you could have drafted anybody during that draft that would have been better than Kevin Knox, including myself, Jonathan, and Joe. All 3 of us could have played better than Kevin Knox in a Knicks uniform. But needless to say, it took a little while, I think 8 years or whatever, but now the Knicks finally got it right, bringing in you know, Mikal Bridges. I don't know, quick little thoughts if you guys want to talk about it before they pick. As the pick comes in, we'll pause for that to see who they pick. But any quick thoughts from anybody on the Mikal Bridges trade and how it affects the Knicks?
I think it was a big boy move that Leon did. I mean, a lot of people could say it was a lot of picks for that player. Yes, the New York Knicks tax was included in the cost of that trade. Let's just be upfront about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't sit and wait forever for the ideal player to come along. He fits what we're trying to do. He fits the team. And I love the fact that we have 2+ defenders on the wing to match up with Boston against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. These were Boston moves, both of these. But, you know, he's going to fit in seamlessly with the team. And, yes, it did cost us a lot. But, I mean, sometimes you got to stand up and you got to throw it in the middle of the table. And, I mean, we are dealing with a window, a Jalen Brunson window, and that Jalen Brunson window just became a championship window.
Yes, sir.
They are officially in pursuit of a championship at this point. It feels good. It's felt like forever since we've been in this seat.
Yes, sir.
I applaud the move. It took a lot of guts, and they gave up a lot, but that's the kind of move that moves the franchise forward. You can't be too conservative. You can't be too risk averse. Sometimes you just got to go for it, man.
That's for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. Jonathan, you want to add a little bit as the outsider, but still New Yorker? What did you think about Mikal Bridges coming to the Knicks for what they gave?
Yeah, I like it. I like Bridges just as a ball player. Villanova, joining the. It seems like New York is just really trying to keep it Villanova. I think I've kind of crossed over to the I almost considered a fan. Almost. I mean, like yeah. I feel like obviously I follow greatness, but anyway, Bridges great fit for New York. I'm a little concerned about Hart. How is Hart going to fit into all this now, and how they're going to jump pieces? But I mean, Bridges, he brings that 6'7". I'm sorry, 6'6". Once again, shooting forward, he could also push the rock. I think New York. I think honestly, New York has won so far.
Yeah.
In this whole draft night, first round, they won.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, we're sitting good with 2 picks. Hopefully picks that we end up keeping. I think the depth would be very huge for us, being that we have lost some draft capital in that trade. I didn't think that the draft capital was as important. I didn't think that the Knicks would ever finish to a point where you worry about it becoming a lottery pick. They're always going to be in a playoff hunt. Even when dismantled and beat up, the Knicks still almost managed to get to the second round. I mean, the Eastern Conference Finals. So when you see that, you know that the Knicks are going to be relevant, barring something major happening. They're going to be in the hunt for definitely a playoff spot as well as contending for a title. We'll get into the next person in a bit because there's more news coming with the New York Knicks. But I don't know if the pick is in yet. I'm looking. I was laughing. They panned to the Atlanta crowd to actually show their excitement, and they're all sitting in the seats, sitting on their hands like typical Atlanta fans because it's a football country down there. They don't care nothing about basketball.
Not for pro football, only college.
Yeah.
Terrible Falcons fans, too. Believe me, I know I'm one of them.
Well, yeah, you're a fan. You're an Atlanta Falcons fan, so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just kind of thinking about Atlanta, too. Does this pick help them, get to where they need to go? I mean, it seems like they've been rebuilding for the last couple of years, and it just seems like, Trae Young, I mean, obviously, an elite ball player. I mean, this pick is this the start of something good for Atlanta?
Yeah, we can hold it. Let's see who Ichabod's out on coming to the podium, so we'll see what's going on.
You're right, though, Jonathan. They have been in flux, but they haven't made the big move. They haven't moved one of their point guards. They have a bunch of pieces right now that don't seem to fit. The roster doesn't make a lot of sense right now. So
they took Zachary Rasasha. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name too bad. Yeah. I like that. I like the pick for him talent-wise. When I when I looked over the draft a little bit, I think it's a very mediocre draft in my opinion. But this kid was a little bit one of the few that it seemed like he was out, an outlier from the rest of the normalcy in the top 15. He has great energy. Like I say, he's very competitive. Wiry. He reminds me. I know I'm dating myself a little bit here. Not that he had maybe the playmaking ability he reminded me a little bit of Kerry Kittles, like his body, like when you acted that body, that jumpy body that Kerry Kittles had, and was constantly he pulls up from 3. He's trying to hit the boards and get those those putbacks. That's who he kind of reminded me of. He has that same lanky, long torso, long leggedness of Kerry Kittles. Not that I want the Atlanta Hawks to be good because clearly I don't want anybody being better than the Knicks. But this was a good maybe reboot for them. They are lacking so much, not in talent-wise, but I think it's direction. You have DeJounte Murray. I never liked that trade.
Right.
I just never thought it was a great pairing. And then going on top of that, they've had Capella. Then the owner came out and said he didn't even like the guys he resigned the year he resigned them, which kind of, really –
That's always a bad sign.
Yeah, that was just – so John Collins is gone. Capella's probably gone. DeAndre Hunter, also a nice wing player that I thought I would go after, on the cheap. But he has been injured most of his career, it seems, and never got off. He was in the R.J. Barrett draft, I believe. He was one of the ones in that draft, and they expected bigger things from him. But if you're watching the highlights on this guy now, as we are, like I said, wiry frame, athletic. Definitely, I think
He's got a decent handle.
Decent handle. They play with speed, which I think Atlanta should be playing with speed. But they got to make a decision. It's either DeJounte Murray's team or it's either Trae Young's team. But they need
exactly.
Well, they have an ex-Knick running the ship over there now. They got Landry Fields in there, and he's got a lot of decisions to make. I mean, he's recently been brought up to the general manager position there, so they got a lot of decisions to make. That roster, like I was saying before, doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. He just seems like it's just funny when reviewing this draft. I was trying to find like that diamond in the rough. I know they said it was going to be a lot of parity in this, but man, I was not impressed by the top 15 at all. I think I picked 3 guys out of there that I was like, oh man, maybe that would be the guy. But even in normal drafts, it seemed like these guys would have been more fringe lottery players or late lottery players, meaning in the 13, 14, 15 range in most of the better draft classes we've seen. But this guy here, this kid here, he was definitely one of the ones that I thought. Shout out to Monica McNutt, our Nick sisterhood there. We doing our morning show, fabulous job. Even though I got her on mute, she definitely she handles these interviews extremely well. So, but
some of my favorite players in this draft, after doing a little bit of research on them, were out of the lottery.
Yeah, I agree. That was my dream. Jonathan, what did you feel like? How did you feel like when looking over? I know we had our own Nick all Nicked up thing where we were talking about who we would pick as GMs and etc. And most of our guys were centered around the late, because it was where the Knicks are picking 24th and 25th. But I, much like Joe, felt like that there were the better picks are towards the end. I wouldn't be in the lottery running around being extremely happy. What was your thoughts when you start looking over the top tier ones, supposed tier ones, that you feel like there was a guy that if you were a team like the Knicks had 2, 3 picks, would you move up for a particular guy that was in the top 15? For me personally, no, but what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, just to kind of rewind just a little bit, Zachary definitely reminds me of Tayshaun Prince as well too. Tayshaun Prince.
That's a nice comparison.
And I like to pick from Atlanta Hawk, but what I say a lot is, mark my words. I just feel like what's happening in the draft is you go from a Carmelo, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, where these drafts are like, amazing. Like, you have 8 to 15 guys that are just amazing. And exactly where these guys are going. I just feel like we're getting to what I call the regular part of the NBA season, where the fillers are coming in. There's nothing wrong with being a filler. I feel like these draft picks are great fillers. And obviously, they're going to be guys that are going to come in and are going to be a surprise. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't even expect he was going to do that.
Yeah.
So I just feel that's where we are. And actually, it's a great time for basketball players where this is a great opportunity to get in versus the time getting in when you have Carmelos and LeBrons and, Dwayne Wades and, those type of tier players. Now it's the filler season. I think this year, I think next year is going to be filler. I think year number 3, we'll get back to seeing that high level. A lot of these younger players that are still in high school, believe it or not, are going to be those players that are going to be coming out. So,
yeah, that's a good take. I love that take. That's a great take. Yeah, because you still got to fill out a bench in the NBA. That's something that is never talked about enough. The depth does help. Boston won having great depth. Denver, when they did win that year, the year prior, it was because of their depth. Although having great players, it's about having the depth. When that depth was taken away from Denver, we saw what happened in the end. They didn't make it to the finals and didn't have the same success. So this was the Washington Blizzards. No, we're not talking about Dairy Queen here. We're talking about the Wizards.
This is
the
most telegraphed pick in the entire draft. This one.
What did you say? I'm sorry. Repeat that.
This is the most telegraphed draft pick in this draft. Everybody knew he was going to Washington.
Yeah, he didn't work out for Atlanta, from what I understand.
No, he didn't.
I watched. I've been following. I've been trying to get get abreast on what's going on with some of the players. I was really just concentrating a lot on the Knicks, obviously, and I said, we're going to do a draft show. Let me look over these guys. I watched him, and I do feel like could it be a Knicks Pepe Le Pew move here? I'm just because of I don't know. I just looked at him and his body type, and I don't like when I see guys who are well almost 7 foot tall and they do the powder puff dunks. I never like them. It's when you just put the ball in, you jump up, and you just poof, just drop it into the rim. I didn't like that very much, but he didn't jump out on the screen for me. I don't know. But have you followed a little bit of his game, Jonathan, as far as Sarr?
Yeah, well, I did slightly follow a lot of the international players, and I knew these two guys, Sarr and the first overall pick. And if you notice, I'm avoiding the name, but
yeah, exactly, Zach, Z.
Big Z. Yeah. Once again, the only thing that I would say with Sarr is his body.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were concerned about Wembanyama, but these guys are skilled. We have to understand where they come from. And I think you said it. I think you said it probably about 2 years ago now. But you were saying that the NBA, like international players, were going to, they pretty much run the league.
Yeah.
Because they are more skilled. They play grown men at a young age. A lot. So. I think he's a good fit. He looks like he kind of reminds me of a more athletic Wembanyama. And I think he'll fit in good. It just once again, Washington. What are they doing?
Yeah, Washington has been an enigma for quite a few years now. They held on to Beal way past his expiration date. The milk was sour. Nobody was trying to go back to the Dairy Queen for that milk too.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with John Wall. Just never had a great sense of direction. Then they trade for Deadpool. And Deadpool was a hot, flaming piece of garbage at that point when they got him. And that has not changed. They signed Kuzma, which he was very weird, but I think he might be heading to Sacramento. That was one of the rumors now, hearing that.
Yeah.
They just never had any direction. They are moving the franchise to Virginia. That's what's also taking place.
Mm-hmm.
They're building an arena in Virginia. I guess that's still the plans from what I last knew. So they probably are just sitting there, probably trying to cut the fat before the move, and then hopefully hope that they can tank and get somebody in the next 2 years to maybe try to give a redirection. I'm looking at all the French picks. They probably were all on the Knicks at one point. Frank Ntilikina was on there, so I know Knicks fans are throwing eggs at the television. But, this is Washington. We don't know who the Wizards are. They drafted Denny Avdia, who I was a fan of, and as well as Corey Kispert. All these guys that we never saw a direction from the Wizards.
Right. And also, too, you mentioned, John Wall on the Wizards. He has been noted. I saw something online where he was saying, "Listen, I just want to be back in the NBA. I want to play. Whether that's from a bench coaching position. At this point, he just wants to be back in the NBA. So I don't know, once again, where he is right now currently. But once again, the Wizards and the Hawks, these teams are like, what are we doing? We can draft players. They're hoping these guys become great. I don't know.
Yeah, John Wall, I think, is out of the league. He is begging to get back. He did sit out. He was in Houston. They had issues with him in Houston when he was there. I don't know what that could have been the franchise too. We don't know. I think Daryl Morey was running that franchise at that point. Also, we know what kind of controversy can go around him when he's in charge of anything, including an ice cream truck. So when looking at that, that might have been some of the letting issues. Chris Paul had issues in Houston, but John Wall was always probably the most athletic guard I've seen. Definitely the fastest I've seen when he came into the league. But they just never could stay healthy in Washington. That's one of the key points. When you would think of him and Beal, that's such a dynamic duo, you would think. But, a lot of those guys did stay past the expiration date. We're seeing that in Beal and Phoenix now. He's not the player. They stayed there probably a little 5 years too long, sitting on too much stacks of money, during that time and never looking like they were ready to compete. They had Kristaps Porzingis there. They traded him to Boston. You know, they looked like they couldn't use him. That would have been a good piece they could have kept also.
Right.
This is what we are. You know, a lot of terrible teams in the NBA. I'm glad the Knicks no longer are one. But,
this is one that could be a trade right here.
Yeah, so we're getting Reed Shepherd going to the Rockets. This is a very interesting.
I like him.
You like Reed Shepherd?
I like Reed Shepherd. I
He
think.
can shoot it.
Go ahead, Joseph.
He could definitely shoot it.
No, he can definitely shoot. He can definitely shoot. They believe he's like a plug and play game. No matter who you put him around, he's going to be able to shoot. I was wondering about him. Is he going? They have him listed as guard. He is the height of somebody who needs to play point guard. I'm wondering. I know the Rockets are in need supposedly of a point guard. I think Ron Dillingham they thought would be the pick to go there for the point guard, but
that's not really his skill set. He could probably play at the backup. Is one of the things I was reading about him prior to the draft. Was that he could probably put in some backup minutes, but this is not somebody that's going to lead a team from the point.
He was giving a little Jimmer Fredette. That's what he was making me think a little bit of.
Yeah.
Who was also a shooter. I think he's taller than Jimmer. I don't know. When you get short, when you're playing two guard, you got to be spectacular. You know, is he going to be a spot up shooter? Cal looking like a used salesman all the time. I guess that guy. But anyway, remember I see John Calipari. I was thinking he's about to sell somebody a car with 3 tires. But he's a little undersized. What is he, like 6'3", maybe, I believe?
6'3".
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Neither of the guards for that Kentucky backcourt were really point guards. They were both scorers. Ron Dillingham, the other one that was in that backcourt.
Well, we're actually wrong. He's playing in 3 quarters. He must be 6'3" in sneakers.
Yeah. Got him as 6'2" here, and Reed Shepherd at 6'3". But neither was a point guard, really. Not really.
52% from 3. My thing is this: in the NBA, they're going to run him off the line. They're going to run him off the line.
But
he's going to have an in-between game. That's where he's going to have that mid-range game. They're not going to let him set up shop out there.
Yeah, they're going to run him off the screens.
Yeah, he goes off screens a lot. Mid-range shot, you know.
Yeah.
Houston has a very unique team. They're not. That's a great. He got a 42 max vertical. You can get up there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Houston's a unique team. They have pieces. Udoka's got them guys playing pretty damn good. You know, I mean, we're really talking about what's Jalen Green. That's their dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's the outlier talent supposedly. Although I think Sagoon is very good. I think he's a good post player. You know,
the office is looking to make a big move too. You keep on hearing that they're eyeing several players off of Phoenix. They want to make a big move. They got a lot of draft capital. Houston's pretty ambitious from what I've been reading lately.
And I've heard Jimmy Butler also being one of the people talked about going to Houston.
That would be interesting.
Butler and Brooks.
I also heard. What the heck was it?
Well, let me say this though. I mean, and once again, I look at Reed. I've watched Reed play. I've watched him play. He had a lot of success at Kentucky because, you know, obviously he was surrounded by a good team. Mm-hmm. You know, I look at someone like Reed, and once again, I'm going to be throwing this out a lot, and until I hear his name thrown. You have someone like Bronny James, right? Mm-hmm. To me, I've seen Bronny play. I've seen Reed. I feel like Bronny James is going to be more of an impact than this guy right here.
It's possible.
I just feel that. You know, this guy is good. But once again, Adam Silver's 6'3". He's standing next to Adam Silver, and I'm not knocking him. I mean, I want him to be successful, but I just feel like, once again, I'm just excited about, you know, seeing where James goes, if he goes somewhere, man.
Well, you know, the thing that you have to wonder about when I first watched this kid, the footage, I was impressed, obviously, knowing the shooting was there, but physically he looked like a little kid. That was one of the issues. Yeah. I don't see him. He's not in his grown man body yet, and I'm wondering whether or not they will find him when picking him this high. He may spend a lot of time in between the G League and the regular league.
Mm-hmm.
probably will split time because this league physically, people look at a guy like Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's gonna look like a linebacker next to this kid, and Jalen's one of the shorter players in the league. So it's like, what's going to happen when this kid gets body? Because, like I said, they're going to run him off the 3-point line. So unless he has a quick release, which he doesn't seem like he has a quick release, he seems like he has a great, he's got great shooting mechanics. He's got the running off screens. I don't know. He's going to see a lot of shadows. He's going to hear some tap dancing. That's for sure. So we've got a little bit of a break here. So let's just talk about another signing for the Knicks. We learned that. Oh my God, it's back in the building. And that's what a lot of Knicks fans are saying. They're going, oh my God, because of the contract. Because this was the eyesore and the issue that most Knicks fans had. They really should call OG Curtis Jackson, because 50 is what he plays. He plays 50 games a year. This has been the issue. A lot of Knicks fans, yeah, we can show you the money, but can you show us more games? Can you show us at least 60 games this season? We've known, basically what has been the type of game that he's had. He doesn't play all year long. So OG Anunoby re-signed to the Knicks, although I think it's a huge move. It definitely puts us in a whole contention area that we've never been in, having two superior wings to now load up on. Hold on, this pick's coming in for San Antonio, so we'll parse off of this for a bit.
It's the big pick for the San Antonio.
This is going to be interesting, this pick, whoever it is.
I like Mathis Buzelis.
Wow, so they took Castle on this one. Wow. I don't know about this one. What do you guys think? Castle? I know a lot of people love Castle. I'm just like, in San Antonio, do you see that as a fit?
They already got a shooting guard there. They got Vassell there. This kid's a good defender, and yes, he can score on the open floor and everything like that. But taking someone that high and not have them primed to be a starting two guard.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't know. I think Buzelis would have been a better fit next to Wembanyama, personally.
Yeah, I don't get this. This is definitely picking up athleticism. But from what I'm understanding and reading, he can't shoot this that well. Castle can.
He could shoot, just not. He's not a plus shooter.
Yeah.
From what I read about him.
So this is trying to. This is popular. Well, this could be tradable too, so we don't know. But
yeah.
We don't. He's a plus defender, though. I do know that about him.
Yeah. Well,
he's 6'6", so got good height on him. Played well. He played well in college. Once again, played first All-American, McDonald's, second All-American.
Mm-hmm.
Freshman of the year, UConn.
He bought some jewelry since he got an agent.
Bought some jewelry.
He bought a little jewels. He got a little drip, little drip on him. He's dripping all over the place.
Last season, 11 points a game, 47%. And that's one thing about players, like high numbers. When you're scoring 11, 12, 13 points in college and you're averaging that could be good. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think like you got to score 20 points and 30 points, and you really don't have to. As far as just getting plugged in your role, you know what I'm saying? So if you could average between 12 and 15 points in college, that's a good look for you,
Yeah, that's true. It's always about the transferable skill. That's what they always say. Great rebounders in college can rebound in the NBA. It's not always about points. I think offense has been overinflated. I just don't know. I'm wondering what we're seeing defense. He could probably play for Tom Thibodeau because defense first.
He would be a tips player, yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he could be. I just don't know if I'm just thinking with San Antonio, although they got Wembanyama, they got Sohan, and they got
Vassell.
I always think that you definitely would want more talent. I would still be in the talent acquisition. Like with the person the highest upside is who I would look for. If I was San Antonio, not someone that I know who's just going to be a good pro. And that's what Castle looks like. He's going to be a good pro. But, where's the upside? There was the kid from
Not
It was his Buzz. Buzz would have who I would have taken if I was in that
Yeah.
position.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I would have taken Buzz.
Not to pivot too hard here, but we got Detroit coming up, and is that a mess or what? With Monty Williams, $60 million still guaranteed, man. First year of his contract, he's out. I mean, what is going on there?
Yeah.
I mean, Trash and Langdon. I mean, they're bringing in somebody who's been rumored to be, the next front office guy on the rise, and hopefully he could steady that ship. But that's a mess over there, man.
It's a hot mess, man. I don't think there's nothing too much about Detroit. It's even, I don't know. I mean, what is good in Detroit? Someone has said to give Isaiah the job. He said, did you watch Isaiah when he was on New York? I mean, I would give him that job either.
Cade Cunningham's good.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Cade Cunningham, it's like, of course, I followed Cade Cunningham in college. I thought he was going to be, I'm not sure if it was injuries or, obviously so many players to follow in the league, but it was injuries or whatever it may be. But once again, I feel like we haven't got Atlanta, from Detroit, the Wizards, the only team that I feel like, San Antonio is a well-established, to me, team. They have pieces in place.
Yeah.
Detroit, once again, Atlanta, Detroit, and the Wizards, it's like we might as well go down Quad Road and snatch.
And the worst part, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead. I'm just saying,
I was saying the worst part is that our 2 conditional picks are right in that cluster of teams. We got to wait for them to get out of the lottery to collect any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no shot against Quad Road, by the way. I don't want any gunmen, anybody.
Joe don't want to get any friendly fire, so probably get John to be the one that gets it. But
but I'm just
an area where we're from, so
like what are they doing? I don't know.
Yeah. Which one do you think is a worse ship? I would have to say Washington. Washington's they really got nothing on that roster, really, that's significant.
I would say Washington because they do have Cade Cunningham. Detroit has talent. It's not a talent issue.
Ivy.
Yeah, Ivy. Yeah. I mean, the talent is there. It does make you wonder what – well, I know they said Monty didn't want to take the job, but he obviously wanted to take the money. So, I mean, I never understand that logic. It's just why can't you get that team playing a certain way, or a certain style? Maybe that's the question. What style should they play? But you can't have a guy like Cade Cunningham who's ultra talented, and you have Jalen Curran there, you have Ivy there. It just never seemed like they have a sense of the kind of team they want to put together.
Maybe Monty messed it up on purpose. I mean, he's collecting from Phoenix and Detroit. He's collected from 2 different teams.
Was it $85 million combined? Is what he's got from?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. All I know is that he had 60 left on Detroit and whatever he had left on Phoenix.
Wow, that's incredible.
I'd be retiring real early if I was him.
So
hobbies.
So getting paid to stay home. Who wouldn't want that? That's a remote job everybody would want.
Detroit had the worst record in the league, 14-60. They won 14 games.
Wow.
Whole entire season. So
that's not good.
It's just, once again, it's just what's going on, that pick's coming in soon, I think. And
yeah.
They had that horrible losing streak, too.
They said the pick is in, so they're now focusing the camera on Ron Holland.
14-68.
Wow.
They set a record for the losing streak last year, right? Didn't they set some kind of a record on the losing streak last year?
Yeah, I think they lost. I forgot how many. It was 25 games straight or something.
It was in the 20s, definitely.
14-68.
That's 14 more than we would have won. So what does that say? So the pick is in. Let's see what Detroit basketball is going to do with this pick. Think about, tell them what it is.
I got to see who's on that roster.
Ron Holland, I think they took. Well,
I think this might be Buzz.
No, it's Ron Holland. They took.
Ron Holland? Really?
I would have took Buzz on this one, but that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, He went higher than a lot of the mocks that I read.
I'm looking at. I don't know, if, Jonathan. You know about him? I've watched him. I just want to get your opinion on what if you've seen him or.
I mean, I'm not familiar with the G League elites. I'm not saying. Listen, great basketball. I did see, before during the pregame show, they were talking about certain players, and they like Ron Holler's work ethic. They think he could be someone that could stretch the defense. Can knock down the shot. But once again, you said it earlier. Like a lot of these players that are getting drafted, are they going to end up in the G League? Which is hey, it's cool. Obviously, you want to keep playing and pursuing your dream, but I'm not sure what Ron Holland II is going to do. I'm not wishing bad upon this young man. I want him to be successful.
Absolutely.
So number 2 recruit in 2023, ESPN Top 100 is saying he's working. He's right now he's emotional, so he wants it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the footage that I did see of him, I thought he definitely has the body type. He's what you were building an NBA player. He has the height, the length, and all that stuff. I wasn't overly impressed by what I saw also. So I think he will have to develop and probably grow into his body, his man body. Because nowadays what you start to see more so is that you see a bunch of dunks. That's all you see, a bunch of dunks, and you don't see the skill set. They show these guys driving to the basket. The shortest guy in the NBA can dunk, so it's not like really this big phenomenon.
Right.
Like, what else can you bring to the table? Well, they now label him as an aggressive scorer, which is always good, but he's going to have to definitely get stronger. What do you think about that, Joe? You've seen a little bit of him before, Holland?
I've spent the last couple of days in YouTube, so I did see him, and I saw a common theme to a lot of the players in the lottery that athletic, take the ball to the hole, decent handle, and it was like a heading that you could have put on like 3 out of 5 of them. Nothing exceptional as far as outside shot, just athletes. And what I saw in him was an athlete, and I guess that's what Detroit saw in him as well. Because this is an athletic game. You need athletes. It's a tough situation for Detroit having the season they had and falling to that place in the lottery too. It's debatable how much more value they would have added with a pick higher in this. They covered pretty well at center, so there goes 2. Their wings are pretty good. The thing that's weird about that team is they have players at every position.
Yeah,
which is strange that they're as bad as they are. I don't know, but that's what I saw in him. I saw an athlete, and I didn't do a deep dive on the kid, but just from the video I saw of him.
And that's Detroit. I'm looking at the roster now. honestly, like no one's jumping out at me. Taj Gibson. That's the only thing. I'm be honest with you. Grimes.
They've got some talent on that roster. Actually, I disagree a little bit with that. Isaiah Stewart can play.
Isaiah Stewart, right? I'm scrolling down now. Yep.
From Rochester.
How about Wiseman?
Yeah. Jalen Duren. That guy can play too.
Duren, I like Jalen Duren.
Quentin Grimes. Isaiah
Cunningham.
Sir Thompson, we don't know really who he's going to be. He was a high-level draft pick.
Yeah.
James Wiseman, that was somebody that we tossed around last year as somebody we wouldn't mind the Knicks picking up.
Yeah.
They've Jaden Ivey. They're not exactly hurting for talent. You got to wonder what that locker room is like to have that talented of a roster and to get that kind of a result. Maybe that's why they fired Monty with, $60 million left owed to him.
Damn, Monty. The full Monty.
Oh, yeah. Full pockets Monty.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I guess it's pick a direction. They probably, with that young talent, clearly they might not like each other. And I know.
Yeah, they're young, too.
That's entirely possible.
this might just be a bad personality fit. As we've learned as Knicks fans, you know, being friendly and happy with each other does work out in the end, even when you're not as talented.
Yeah.
And that might be what we're seeing a little bit from Detroit, not having a head to wag the tail. Because I think Cade Cunningham is great, but I don't know if he's the leader. I don't know if he's got that leadership quality. He's got the skill clearly, but you have to have someone that's going to put their stamp on that team and say, this is where we're going.
Yeah.
Hit on to me. And I don't think they have that guy on their team. Definitely didn't have the coach. Because most of them, when you heard Monty, when he was playing in New York, when he thought it was controversial how they lost, etc.
Yeah.
Basically called out his team the whole entire time. That's what he was calling out, like, you guys could be doing better and etc. But that falls at his lap if you don't have your team prepared.
So Jonathan, let me ask you a question. We got Charlotte coming up right now. I get, this is another dumpster fire of a franchise, but they have a really talented player in Miles Bridges who went through a lot. What do you see happening with this Miles Bridges situation, John?
I remember when my son initially just mentioned, see, I'm the kind of guy where if you get into problems, I'm like, gotta get rid of you. I don't, because first of all, it's a blessing to be able to play in the league, and it's hard work, and a lot of these guys obviously don't have, come from backgrounds where they are completely led the right way. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear about him as a person, some of his off court situations going on, if he can clean his act up, if he can get it together, I think that they should they have a Ball, Bridges. I like Seth Curry. I'm saying he's not obviously his brother, but these are guys. They got Brandon Miller is still there. This team is a young team. I like Cody Martin. But Miles Bridges, I'm just concerned about him and his character. Right. Is he going to be able to, sometimes you got to lose something to realize how much you had. And I feel like that's Miles Bridges. Like, he needs to get his act together. He needs to go under the radar. He needs to just not be in the media and just come out there and play basketball. He's only 26 years old. He has good height on him. Comes from a good college background, Michigan State, and good weight, and he just needs to play ball, man.
What he did was bad, but people have come back from worse.
Oh, come on! I mean,
people have come back from much worse.
Mm-hmm. People have come back.
Not to condone anything, but
yeah, and don't, like I said, don't. I'm not saying, I'm not coming from a place where I'm saying he needs the right voice in his ear.
Yeah.
To just let him know, like, listen, if he happens to see this podcast, he might run across it. You never know. Do the things. Get around the right people. It's a blessing to be where you are financially. I mean, just straighten up, and he, Miles Bridges could absolutely be a good selection for Charlotte.
Not to stray too much, but just an interesting little fact about this draft. We're halfway through 6 picks. Half of those picks have been French.
That's what I'm looking.
I feel like I'm in an alternate universe right now.
I thought this was Alonzo. I thought this was one of the Ball brothers from France. I was like, I didn't know one of the Balls was overseas. Oh, this is gonna be a whole light skin convention over in Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I enjoyed watching tape on this kid. I thought he really has. I mean, he's very young. I think he's like 18 years old right now. But his stroke looked really good. I mean, he plays from the wing for a kid that size. I mean, he looks like he has a really interesting skill set.
Well, he's definitely got some size to him. He's built.
He knows. He's about 6'8", I think.
Let's see what it is. Got the shooting range is what they got him for. Okay, man. So him and Brandon Miller can light it up from outside.
Yeah, they got to just come together. You got to be special to me. A lot of time it takes a minute to. He has great size to him.
Yeah, the size is there.
He has good size to him, especially what is he 6'9"?
6'7", 6'9". Well, he's probably going to be about 6'9" by the time it's done, at least.
I saw on his tape 6'8", but I'm looking at a mock right now that's got him at 6'9". But he plays off the wing. I mean, he's got a really interesting skill set.
Well, it's got to be better because Michael Jordan gave up the team, and we know his draft. As great as he was as a basketball player, he was as equally terrible drafting players. So the Charlotte Hornets can't do worse. They have to do better now that he's out of the mix because Jordan was a terrible, I don't want to say owner, but evaluator of talent. If he was the one that was overthrowing whoever decided to make the decisions, because they're still suffering from Adam Morris being chosen.
This is going to be Donovan Clingan. I would bet my house right now.
This is Portland on the clock.
Yeah.
What's the young man?
Just reporting earlier that they wanted to try to trade up to get him. So it looks like they're not going to need to do that.
He's a center, though, am I right? Clingan?
He's a center. He's a really good and instinctive shot blocker.
He's from Duke. Right? This is a kid from Duke?
Yeah. No, Donovan Clingan he wasn't from Duke. That was Filipowski. That was from Duke. He was from Connecticut, UConn.
Oh, UConn. Okay, yeah. Okay.
UConn.
Well, I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I like him.
What does this mean for Ayton if they pick him here? That's the question, too.
That's a really good question. One I don't have an answer for, but I've always been kind of a DeAndre Ayton fan.
Mm-hmm. I think every time you see Woj, you wonder if something's happening. So.
Yeah.
Did they dismantle his Twitter this year? I wonder while he's being a
No, I got his Twitter up right now.
No, Woj is Woj just hit the gym. Woj got tight around the neck. You know,
yeah. This is gonna be Clingan, definitely. So Ty, who are you hoping is gonna fall for the Knicks?
Oh man. Well, Deron Holmes is my dude that I've always chosen.
Yeah.
He would be for me a great pick for the Knicks. I mean, who do need to get a big. I mean, obviously Edie's the person, knowing that we might lose Hartenstein. You know, talk about somebody who would clog up the lane and offer even more resistance at the rim as a Knick. Just imagine that length, and then now you have these two magnificent wings. You know, you got to be confused going anywhere if you're trying to drive on the New York Knicks. If you got a big 7'7" guy also in the middle of the lane, so it should be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But that was Donovan Clingan was his pick, just for edification. Yeah, I mean, somebody like Holland. You know, I think they're going to go center here. They have to go center. I think if you're the Knicks,
I would keep all three picks and go center for two of them. To tell you the truth, I like Kel'el Ware a lot.
That was the guy I liked.
He's a bit of a space case, but I mean, he's got all the tools there. Yes. Do you know who I really liked? He'll never make it to us, but I watched a lot of tape on was Tristan Da Silva. He's an older player. I think he's 23 already right now, but he's got some game to him.
He's ready made. He can play now.
Yeah, definitely.
Portland's getting their new Bill Walton. Rest in peace to Bill Walton, I guess. They're getting a new big. So his favorite hobby is fishing. We know that he'll be doing a lot of that because Portland won't be making the playoffs, so he'll be fishing a lot.
Chauncey Billups looks like he's getting old coaching that team.
Wow. You know, they're another team when you talk about, I don't want to say they're on Detroit's level of misdirection and issues, but they are a team that you're wondering, does all the parts fit and make sense? Because they've got talent there. Anthony, what's his name? Anthony Simons, very good player. Yeah. But you don't see, I don't see whether, because when they drafted Scoot Henderson, who also needs the ball.
Right. Scoot Henderson, that's what I was thinking about.
It doesn't, those things don't make sense because I know they probably were drafting best talent available, but that doesn't always make sense unless you're moving that talent. Like if they had drafted Scoot and said, okay, now we're going to parlay him into some other talent and get, maybe trade down or whatever. once you have a point guard, the worst thing you can do is do what the Knicks did and do a Rod Strickland and draft another point guard. Right after you just selected Mark Jackson the year before, because what is it going to do for your team? Now you have a dynamic of who runs the squad, and I just never thought that Scoot Henderson pick was made any sense.
No, and I mean they wanted him. They also have Shaden Sharp too. They're very guard heavy.
Mm-hmm.
They need to really kind of figure out that roster a little bit more. But they have really good players. Like Jeremy Grant is a heck of a player.
Yeah.
And just wasting away on that team. The roster doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's not surprising when you get these teams that decide to blow it up and get rid of, their best players and try to kind of just go in this talent acquisition mode. You see really Toronto's in that state right now where they're just grabbing players and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Putting it together and the roster doesn't make sense. But I guess that's what you do when you're at the bottom. You just grab whatever you can that you think will bring value, and then you figure it out later.
Yeah, it seems like the only team is Oklahoma City is the only one that seems to get it right. They find the right talent, they accumulate draft picks, and they make the best fit. I don't know.
I'd give Sam Presti a $200 million contract.
He should be the highest paid anything in the league. The way he can find talent and put together teams.
That guy knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting. I know Portland once again has redundancy with Klingon. So, I mean, when we look at that, now you got to move. Now you have an asset like in DeAndre Ayton where you could move him. Unfortunately, his personality is not – well, Detroit might need him. They were trying to sign him before in free agency at that one point. Maybe that's a direction they can go, but they do need to pick a direction.
Do you know who could actually probably use him is Oklahoma City?
They could. That's a good talk right there.
Oklahoma City could probably use him.
That's my concern when we get to the Oklahoma City pick is whether or not when you talk about Edey. That's what the question mark. Which would work good for the Knicks if they did, because that means they don't need Hartenstein. So we'll see.
I mean, you can't. I mean, to get rid of. I mean, Hartenstein definitely won me over. I'm a huge Hartenstein fan.
Yeah, me too.
I just feel like he does the right things. He has the right energy, aggression. I love the Hartenstein. Every time on Saturday when I play, I hit the floor. I'm like Hartenstein. So I think that well. And it went from my son saying, who's Hartenstein to like, okay, who Hartenstein is. So, but like I think someone said it's Zach Edey. He hasn't. I mean, is Zach Edey gonna end up in New York?
Oh man, a lot of people like that. There's a lot of fans of Zach Edey in New York.
This has got to be Buzelis. This has got to be him.
It better be, because I mean, if you can walk away with Castle and Buzelis, you're pretty good, San Antonio. They would definitely.
They got a lot of picks coming up too, man. They're stocked. That team's going to be nasty once they start to put together. They got a good front office too, though, man. As much as they got lucky, getting generational center after generational center, they've also made good decisions in the front office.
Right,
a well-run ship.
I could see Devin Carter. Coming up, playing alongside Wembanyama. I don't know.
Yeah. Devin Carter from Providence, yeah. They don't really have a point distributor, really. They don't really have a true point, I don't think, on that team. I think they were playing Sochan at the point.
Yeah, they were.
For a while.
And Vassell was bringing up the ball also. This should be interesting. Everybody's looking at Ron Dillingham. So
Dillingham, another Kentucky guard.
He's very undersized.
He's a bucket, though. He can put it in the hole. He can put it in the hole, man. Not a point, really. Neither of those guys from Kentucky were points.
Yeah, neither one of them point guys. So. What's your thoughts on them, Jonathan? I saw you shaking your head.
No. I was still on Zach Edey. I'm just surprised he still has not gone yet.
I agree. I would have thought he would have gone a lot higher. But the league is so probably very concerned about what to do with him. Tom Thibodeau is one of the few NBA head coaches now that actually are centered around centers. The center's a vital part. Unless you're like a Jokic or a Embiid, most people are not even worried about the center position as much.
He's not a real rim protector, though. But
So,
can you imagine him setting screens for Brunson?
Yo,
Rob
like a brick wall.
It was Rob Dillingham that's going to the Spurs.
Ron Dillingham, good call. Yeah, he went higher than a lot of the mocks that I saw. I saw him going as high as 17.
It looks like he's 2 years old and stripping down.
Yeah, his hair is tight.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting old because he looks like he could be a toddler. Like when I pick up my nephew from elementary, that's what he looks like. But, you can't count the size on these guys. Muggsy Bogues was a small dude and one of the more nastier players to ever play in the game, albeit in the league where it was all centers back then. So, he could definitely make it happen.
I was saying, even with Brunson made me a believer in the 6'2" guy.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, but if you, and, as we're looking at, Dillingham right now is giving hugs out to everybody, it's like one way that I always try to train, my son as he's navigating his path, and who knows, one day, hopefully, but like Brunson, his daddy trained him to be a low post player as well.
Yeah.
I think that, finishing off of two, finishing with, off of two, the shiftiness with the up and unders, just knowing how to play, having that big man mentality type game too, mixed with the guard play. That's what makes Brunson so special.
Yes.
And yes. These young players, these guards, this guy 6'1", 164 pounds. He's 6'1", 140, 6'1", 141 pounds. I think 161 pounds. He's small.
He's slight. I'm telling you, I thought it was my little nephew's friend that he plays with at the school because this dude is small, man. But you can't measure that ticker, that heart. You can't measure that.
You know something? If I was Memphis, I'd be looking at Cody Williams right now. And Jalen Williams' little brother.
Yeah.
He would fit good on the wing with them.
Ja
Morant, yeah.
All this Ja Morant, all he's been through this, with the waving the ball, kicking down the door type mentality,
I know he's got a lot of bad PR now, but I love watching that kid play.
Oh man, listen.
I was a huge fan of him. I wanted him to fall to the Knicks. Believe me.
I remember that.
When he was playing in Murray State, Eric and all the guys that are not here, they'll tell you. I was like, if we can get John Morant, this is before he was on the radar. I love his game. It's just, I don't love his actual curriculum.
I remember that you were putting signs up in the street and like a parade float for getting John Morant.
Man, I thought I wanted that dude so bad. As far as on the
phenomenal
Knicks.
Player, phenomenal.
I thought that's what the Pelicans messed up. I would have picked him one. I wouldn't have picked Zion.
Yeah,
because what has Zion really panned out to, other than being a myth and a legend? And some of that is when he's at a fast food restaurant. So
I got two words, man: stripper buffet.
What Chris Ross says? Itty and tater tots don't mix. That's all I'm gonna put it that
But let me tell you though, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know where this pick is going for Memphis, but I can see Zach Edey in Memphis too. I mean,
they need a center.
They don't have a center, man.
They need a center.
Ja Morant doing his thing off of the Zach Edey, pick and roll, and
I heard a rumor about a week ago of the Knicks trying to trade or a proposed trade with the Knicks bringing up Mitchell Robinson in one of the picks to try to move into this spot. I don't think that's going to happen, but I did read something related to that.
Well, they were shopping Mitch. Mitch was noted to go to Memphis. Was one of the teams. New Orleans would make a lot of sense. He's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
These were things discussed. Whether or not, I guess it really comes down to who do the Knicks value more, Isaiah Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson. I'm biased, so I'm probably the worst person to ask that, but I mean, I'm a Hartenstein fan. I would have traded Mitch. I would have been traded Mitch just because it made more sense how he fit the Knicks. But yeah, Memphis would have been a good maybe landing spot. But you got to be able to get an expiring for Mitch, not someone who's going to carry over a couple more years on the books.
No, because our cap's going to get complicated real soon, especially when they start looking at a Brunson extension.
Edie went there, I think. Yep, we called it. Memphis took Edie.
Wow.
Edie is going to Memphis.
Yo, I like it.
They're going to be tough.
Oh,
I like it.
I think that's a good pick for
I
them.
like it.
Yeah, that's a huge pick.
I like it. That's a good pick.
That's a very good pick for them. So they lost Adams. That's who was originally their center. I don't know. I know he's been injured.
Wow. Hold on a second. The Timberwolves are trading a 2031 unprotected first and a protected 2030 pick swap to the Spurs for Dillingham. Rob Dillingham is going to Minnesota. They need
Minnesota?
Yeah. Woj just posted it 2 minutes ago.
What is going on with that?
It's a good move. It's a good move for the Timberwolves. I mean, nothing for nothing. They need somebody to run point. They can't keep going with what they're doing right now. But they're trading a 2031 unprotected and a 2030 pick swap. Considering where their team is right now, those could be very valuable picks. So that's pretty smart for the Spurs, I think. I don't know, man. Especially considering that this is a weak draft and they traded the 8th pick in the weak draft. To get a 2031 unprotected and a 2030 pick swap, I kind of like that move for the Spurs.
Wow, now, just though, I'm going to say this, and I'm just that guy. I don't like the fact that Zach Edey's not in the building. If he's not in the building,
I don't know why he's not in the building. That makes sense.
They didn't think he was going to be a lottery pick. People were talking about him falling out of the first round earlier on in the process, but I don't think he was invited to the Blue Room, man.
Oh, wow. You kidding me? That's crazy.
You got to come.
They only do that for lottery picks, man. It's not like the NFL draft where everybody and their sister's there. They only let a certain amount of people sit in.
That's a huge pickup for Minnesota.
Look at his numbers, too. 8 points, 14 points, junior year, 22 points, 25 points. He knows how to – he develops. I think this is going to be a good year for Memphis. I wouldn't say chip, but I will say great year. Jackson, Bane.
Yeah. Desmond Bane's good, man.
Bane is a very good player. I like Bane.
Jonathan, I agree with you. I think they're poised for a big turnaround. They just need to straighten out the ship.
Makes me wonder if he's staying there now. It does make me wonder. Would this be a trade where the Knicks do trade Mitchell Robinson to get in?
Yeah, could be. I mean, but Edey's going to play a similar game to what Steve Adams played, so I think he's going to fit in pretty well with that offensive rebounding, setting screens, that kind of thing. But I'm just thinking also, guys, about that Minnesota backcourt. Even though I like the move for the Spurs, Dillingham and Ant-Man in that backcourt, they're going to be scoring from all over the place, man.
Yeah.
So that is a dynamic backcourt.
So I guess who's their I'm trying to think of their point guard, the starting point guard for Memphis. I mean, I'm sorry.
That's Rick Van Winkle, man.
Who the starting guard for Memphis?
No, for Minnesota.
I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He actually was a college teammate of Greg Oden's.
Yeah, lefty. Why can't I think of his name? So,
hold on, give me one.
I can't remember. The only reason I can't remember this is I'm old.
I know it's a C. It starts with a C. It's not Mike Conley. Mike Conley.
I
guess he's coming to. I'd be the understudy of Mike Conley. Mike Conley's always hurt, unfortunately.
He's 36.
Yeah. So Cody Williams, he's going to Utah.
Yeah, I like the tape I saw from him.
His brother was. I wanted the Knicks to draft his brother.
Yeah, his brother's a player, man.
Yeah. Knicks had I think that was maybe the Quentin Grimes draft, I believe, was his brother, his older brother. I wanted them to trade back and take 2 picks and get Duran from Chicago and Williams that went to Oklahoma City. I thought those would have been good depth pieces.
You're
You know,
Cody Williams.
Yep, he's a linky guy.
with Chicago coming up right now, talking about a team in flux also as well. The guy you mentioned before, Jonathan, Devin Carter might fit there. They still haven't figured out that point situation. They really haven't. I don't think Kobe White's a real point.
Nah, I agree with that.
Is Ball ready? Is he ready to go?
They say he's going to play here. It's kind of an interesting thing. He's the first basketball player ever to have a cartilage transplant. They transplanted meniscus into him, which a lot of the sort that's really kind of the way of the future. I used to work, actually, 2 of my jobs were in transplant, and they're starting to do tissue transplants with that, especially when you have meniscus injuries. They will add in someone else, I guess a cadaver's meniscus in there. There's also a hockey player, I forget his name, Jake something or other, that has a cervical disc in his neck that was transplanted from somebody else. This team needs a lot of help. They need to figure out what to do with Zach LaVine.
Yeah,
what's going on with that?
I was just very shocked what they did with Caruso. I would have never thought that they would have traded Caruso and never asked Oklahoma City for a pick. I just thought that was the team with the most picks. And clearly, they have more than everyone now that the Knicks unloaded from Macau. Oklahoma City has a trove, and you would have thought that Chicago would have said, well, throw me something. Throw me a cracker or a cookie or something, a second rounder. And to know that they gave you a guy who they were about to bench, that's what it really was coming. He's about to come off the bench. Giddey didn't want to come off the bench. That's why
Chicago likes Giddey.
Yeah. I get Giddey's game. I mean, it's not a bad game. But clearly he was a player you had to worry about on the defensive end. He was getting cooked.
Yeah.
And he's not a great shooter yet. So it's like you gave Oklahoma City something that they really needed, which was wing depth and a guy who can get at it in Caruso. That's one of my favorite players, Elmer Fudd. Elmer Fudd is
he's great. Great.
So I would have loved to have had him on the Knicks. In fact, the Knicks did try to get him. But it's just Chicago jettisons him out to get back Giddey. Not that Giddey's bad, but it's like, why would you not ask for more? That's a poorly ran franchise when you're not asking for a little bit extra to top, because you're, like I said, I'm giving you something you need, and you're getting rid of something you don't want. So I think you should compensate a little bit for it.
Something. It's probably inappropriate to hold it against the Bulls for all this time, but I remember Jerry Krause saying that organizations win championships, not players.
I'm the captain of Eric. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it'll show you what the organization's done over all those years since the great Bulls teams. They have been mismanaged. They have drafted poorly, made bad decisions. This team's been a laughingstock.
That's for sure. So we mentioned about the OG, $212.5 million. So the guy who's remote, who once was in charge, he's no longer in charge right now. Once his comments highlighted,
the salty one is here.
Saying OG stands for overpay, damn it. It doesn't. G is not what starts with damn it, so it's not a G. Anyway, we're going back to. Go ahead. Jonathan, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I know E. First of all, I wish Eric was here. Does a great job. Captain. Yeah. I think that OG is worth it. The only but if he can stay healthy, and I know they're saying that if was a fifth, everybody would be probably intoxicated. But I truly believe if OG is healthy, and he's able to give the Knicks a full championship run to the chip, I think he's worth it. He's man, defense, offense. He's that guy. He just got hurt. You know what I'm saying? So they took a risk, I believe.
They did.
Yeah.
You know something me and Ty were talking about last week that is a real big concern is that historically he has gotten injured, and all of that can be very valid. You know, a lot of people have said he's got a low pain threshold, but those are probably all real injuries, which means he's fragile, and we got him for another 4 to 5 years, depending on whether he exercises that option or not. Mm-hmm. And if he is fragile, he's only going to get more fragile when he gets older. You know, that's a concern. I mean, all of this stuff, the OG signing, Bridges, it's all rolling the dice, but that's how you win big. You have without risk, you're not going to go anywhere. These are risky moves, but you know, you have to make moves like this to get to that next level. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just think of the biggest thing I always speak about is the time window for when you have a superstar, and the Knicks do have one in Jalen Brunson. Yeah, according to what the league standard for superstars is, I put him in one of those categories. You have to maximize him, and you've done a great job in putting around him people that work with him and for him, and love him and protect him. And it's gone a long way, especially this year, in spite of having a lot of injuries. Those guys played for one another. So you have to say, will you ever get a shot at maybe getting a top 10 player, 5 player, whatever in the league again as a Knick? And the answer is probably no, because we've never really had one on that level. And now you're saying, let's roll the dice because we think we can win a title. So this is the cost of doing business if you want to get a shot at winning the title. And yes, is OG overpaid? Absolutely. Did we pay a lot for Mikal Bridges? Absolutely. But if you believe you have a 1A talent and you've gotten to almost the second round the Eastern Conference Finals for 2 straight years, then you have to bolster the roster with what works. And you got to roll the dice. So I think that's what we are. All right, we have Chicago's in, and Buzz is in.
This is going to be Buzz.
Maybe Chicago got it right now.
Yeah. You know, all the risk aside and everything like that, and I know all the prices that were paid, I feel damn good about this team. I can't wait to see this team on the floor.
This Priscillas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good this kid I like.
Yeah, this kid's skilled, very skilled.
As Eric says here, after all that, Edie goes in the lottery.
He's desperate. His cry looks like he can't believe it. Like for real. It's a different type of cry. He looked like, oh my goodness, is this happening? Come on, baby, cry differently.
Because he's going to Chicago. He's like, oh no, please don't send me there.
Yo,
they got bad pizza, a bad basketball team. He wants to go there. Game though, he's got some game. I like what I saw from him.
The best cry after getting picked was Stephon Marbury when he got picked by Minnesota. It was like an angry cry, like he couldn't wait to get on the court.
Yeah. Yeah, he was very emotional. RJ's was touching as well. You see some
RJ was very touching. That was very touching.
Yeah.
Okay, Oklahoma City.
OKC
took a major steps up forward this year. What do you think this team needs? I want to see him draft a center. So
they do need a center. They don't need our center. They need to give us back our center. But
yeah.
But I would think they're going big here. I don't know who. This might be a Holmes, or maybe this becomes a Dunn, somebody who don't need the ball at all and they feel they can develop. Who else is a center that's available? This could also be Ware. We talked about him. You know, I can't see them technically, in my opinion, paying Hartenstein that kind of money. It does go against the grain of what they do. Maybe this is where they actually. Who's this kid? Is he Carnegie?
They probably need a 2-guard too.
Yeah, well, they might.
Elmer Fudd isn't starting on that team. They're going to be bringing him off the bench.
Who's this kid? What are they crying over their brother? Oh, this is the brother. Okay.
Okay, you know what? I'm about to cry. I'm serious. I'm an emotional guy, and I take back what I said about the guy. I mean, I feel like they did this. That cry is just thank you, God. Like the hard work, all the tournaments, all the probably AAU tournaments, all the it's a lot that goes into this, man. It's a lot.
It was about the Saturday. The whole family was crying, so it was
family crying.
It's got to be a very emotional moment for these guys.
I'm sorry. I hope that Chicago does him well because I like his game. They had just had to put him up that Michael Jordan was the pick, and now this kid's it's like, well, why put the equivalence of that? Those two together. It's crazy. We're moving along pretty quick here. I thought it would be taking a long time. You're not playing around.
Yeah.
Very nice family situation, and that's cool, man.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still. I can't even watch it anymore. Seriously. I mean, I feel like he deserves it. Cheers, brother.
Well, it's funny when I looked over at the camera. The one kid was crying. I said, "Was he crying because he didn't get selected?" Because I was like, "Why is this kid crying so much?" I didn't realize it was his brother that was crying. I'm like, man, they love each other. It's all good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all about that sacrifice. I don't think people realize how much they work. I think they think that there's this God-given gift, and these kids just roll out of bed and they family sacrifice. And Jonathan, you do it with your child, and you work with other kids. These things are huge moments, man, and it's a lot of work. It's not as simple as just being talented. That's what gets mixed up is that people just look at the talent, go, oh, he just dunks, but it's like you live your life. This is your life. This is everything.
And the thing about it is once you put in this hard work, once you put in the work, there's still no guarantee. Like I tell my son all the time, the only thing that is promised in this, that if you work hard, you'll be in the best shape of your life.
Yeah. Right.
But it's no guarantee that you're gonna make it to the NBA. There's many different roads, for any young people watching right now that are on the draft, watch this tomorrow, whatever. It's such a grind and a sacrifice, and people don't understand, man. It's a lot that goes into when your son or your daughter says, "Listen, hey, Dad, Mom, I want to play the game," and you got to be at the elite level.
Mm-hmm.
No days off, literally. I mean, it's a lot, man. So definitely shout out to Chicago Bulls, and I hope this kid is great, just as far as his career.
Absolutely. Like I said, he was one. I had about 3 players in the top 15 that I liked, and he was one of them. That I said, well, he was the one that caught my eye, one of the few. The number one pick was one of the guys, and this guy was another one.
Yeah.
And I said, well, their game seemed to have an NBA flavor to it. The other guys, I'm like, you might be in the G League. You may be in the G League. I like that's a bad assignment. I just don't think that they are lottery-worthy players. They seem like if there was another draft, another year, they would maybe be in the outside of the lottery or maybe heading into the second round. That's just my opinion. I didn't see one player, too many players within that top 15. I was like, go get that dude. Go get that dude. I would go trade up for him.
Yeah.
I'd trade that in this draft. This would have been a draft I would have traded that. But luckily, like a guy like Eric brought up about Edie going early is also letting you know the strength of his game and his weakness draft also. They had him all over the place, hopping up and down. And thank God he did go in the top 10. I mean, not good for the Knicks, but
yeah.
This will be interesting. For this point of the draft, there's been very little besides a Minnesota trade on the trade activity front. Things have been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
People are just making picks. Teams are just making picks so far.
I think Carter's going to go to OKC because you guys enlightened me. I didn't know Giddey wasn't even on OKC anymore.
Yeah, this is Nikola Topic. They took Nikola Topic.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's injured. I'm very shocked at this pick.
But he looks good, man. I mean, nothing for nothing. he's practically ambidextrous from what I can tell, man. He could go to either hand. He's got a great handle. He goes strong to the hoop. He can elevate off of either foot. It's just he had a partial tear of his ACL, and then he re-injured the knee, I think, coming back. I don't know if he tore the ACL or anything, but this was a kid that when I saw his tape looked super athletic and had a great handle. He's a big kid too.
Yeah.
Looks like Luka.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see his neck size. He's got a neck bigger than mine, which is kind of big. For a basketball player, that's pretty thick too, man.
Looks like Luka.
I'm surprised too, Ty. I thought he was going to slide.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they had him at number 1 and 2 for most of the draft mocks, and then he got the injury, and then he slipped down pretty far. But you know, if OKC picked him, he's very good. That's all I can tell you, because they don't screw that up. They draft extremely well. They don't screw up their draft picks. So.
And I guess they feel like they can wait on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this.
He'll go to both hands equally. He looks good.
Well, he's pretty much taking the Giddy role. They're like, well, we're swapping Josh for this kid, and we'll see what he comes back. There's not a desperate need for him because OKC is obviously probably outside of the Knicks. I think are probably the second best ran franchise right now, with OKC being the echelon I think throughout the whole entire league, because they just get it right, and they just get it right. They don't miss on many things. They've had 3 MVPs in one team. When you think about it, Westbrook, Rusty, and Harden have all been MVP of the entire NBA, and they all were drafted by OKC and were on the same team at one point. Somebody knows what the hell they're doing on OKC. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. I agree. Even though it may not have panned out like an immediate impact, but I feel like you said, Westbrook, Harden, and Durant, obviously these guys became great. And I like this kid. I mean, I don't know much about him, but once again, I think those international players have a certain savvy, like a Pepe Le Pew. Like, it's kind of like they're very slick, and no disrespect to any international people. Just a little joke I said, but I just really feel like they have a certain swagger to their game.
They do.
Very smooth, like you said, Joseph. Left or right, attacking the rim. Long ball. Defense. Obviously, that's key. We'll see. The Kings are on the clock.
Yeah, the Kings. This is another enigma franchise. I know they've had their success moments. I want to call it. They've never been quite sustainable. They got some good pieces. Now we're hearing that De'Aaron Fox does not want to sign an extension with them, which I think is very weird. They brought back Malik Monk.
I like him.
Yeah, I like Monk. Funny enough, I like Malik Monk more than I like Fox some days, to be very honest with you, because he's kind of the guts of that team. When you see big moments, it's Malik Monk. Not that Fox is bad, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, when they made that trade from Halliburton on and moved on to Fox, I don't know if it was the best idea, in my opinion.
Sabonis is a good player, but it's not at a premium position. Halliburton's a premium position.
Yeah. I would have kept Halliburton and shipped Foxy. That would have been ideal. But I don't know.
This is the mismanagement, though. I mean, grabbing all those point guards, Davion Mitchell too.
Davion Mitchell.
Like he's a good player. I would take him in a heartbeat, but he's been rotting on that bench because they're taking Fox, they're taking Halliburton, they're taking all these other players. And like I said, so as good as Sabonis is, I'd rather have the point guard. I'd rather have the plus point guard any day of the week than have my best player be a power forward.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And sometimes with Sabonis kind of wanes. He's one of those players that, we know what Julius does to him. Every time Julius just sees lunch meat, every time he sees him, he just want to eat him up. So, but he always, I don't want my big man being my best distributor on that team. And it's like he's like very much it's like that's his game, but it's still a game of deferring. Whereas I want him to be a power player, if anything. But it's just a bad dynamic because you got two scorers. He's a scorer. Foxy's a scorer. You don't have a point guard. That's why they kept Hal. Hal would have been, Hal Urkel is like, oh, Hal Urkel would have been the dude on that team that would have helped Sabonis' game grow, in my opinion, over Foxy. Oh, man, what is this? Elder Barge got picked? What is going on? This is his son.
I don't like any of the options out there for that team right now. There's nothing that they need out there, really.
They took Devin Carter, Sacramento. Okay. He's got the DeBarge hair, the wavy look. Looks like one of those.
I like it.
So they took another point guard.
I like it.
They took another guard. It's like,
I like it.
Took a point guard.
Off of the course for Sacramento.
Hold on, get your goalie boy. I like it, baby.
I think he gets style points.
Very smooth, baby.
He's like Goldie. Look at GTA Grand Theft Auto character.
AKA Goldie, baby.
He's shirtless. He's shirtless underneath it.
Oh. Yo, wait a minute. I like him.
Yeah, he looks like he should be hanging out with like Bad Bunny or something.
He's got the wave fit. Come on, the chest muscles out with the double-breasted suit. Bro.
Yo, and I love Coach. I love the coach of Providence.
Well, they definitely got point guard covered.
That dude's smooth, though. I got to give him. He got some swagger to be wearing that up there on that podium.
You know what it is, baby?
Yeah. Oh, the shoes are pink. Oh, he's got the Pepto-Bismol shoes, too.
But we know he come. But see, this guy, Devin Carter. Let's do a little background. His dad, first of all, Carter.
Oh yeah,
been in the league, good player in the league. So there's been some money flowing in his family. So you can tell right now.
You can. You're right.
That he's walking like, Daddy, I did it. You've been taking care of me, but I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
Who's his dad?
What's his name? Carter. He played for the Miami
Anthony Carter.
Anthony Carter. Yeah.
Anthony Carter
played for the Miami Heat at one point. Yeah. This kid. I mean, he's killing it. It's all good, but he's killing it.
I'm killing it, baby.
Why did they get another? And he's a dog too. I mean, I watched him.
Oh.
He's got a motor. I mean, he's a dog, but they don't need.
No,
they need it, but they got to move on from some of those pieces they got because it's for who's the other kid that they picked up? That was the year of the Ivy draft.
Keegan
Murray. See, those pieces are weird. Then they brought in the dude from Indiana. He's a Dominican kid. I can't think of his name now.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The Knicks were looking at Duarte.
Duarte.
Yeah.
None of these people are panned out that they brought over, and it's like, I mean, now they're getting Kuzma. Maybe this is Washington's pick. Maybe who knows? Maybe I don't know.
Kuzma.
42-inch vertical. I mean, I like Carter. I think Carter's going to be a good NBA player. He got a 6'8" wingspan. Verticals looking tight. Reminds me of like a young Brunson too. He's like got a good body to him, good neck to him. I like him. I like the kid.
Well, we're reading from Woj. There's significant trade talks around this pick. So,
here we go.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's not a secret that the Kings have been looking to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the two teams, probably the Rockets and the Kings, were the most publicized at wanting to make something happen around this draft. Ooh, look at this. Proposed trade. Wizards receive Malcolm Brogdon, 2024 first, 2029 first, 2 second-round picks. Wow. And look at this. The funny thing is, I got something really fun. I got to throw this out there. Before, I was looking at Portland when Portland was drafting, and Kenny Avia was on their roster. This is when Portland was drafting on ESPN.com, and I was like, "What the hell is he doing there?" I was going to say something about it, but somebody knew something.
Yeah,
because he was on their roster already. I don't know, 7 picks ago.
Wow. This thing is definitely this is going to be interesting. I guess we're going to start seeing some movement now.
We were just talking with Eric yesterday about Denny
Avia. Yeah, I'm a fan of, but they were talking like 3 picks, 3 firsts. I mean, Eric was like, "Oh, I'll give 2." Then it kind of coincides with what Mikal went for. Denny Avia getting 3. Mikal definitely is going to get 5.
Yeah, wow. Bill Walton, man. I mean,
that's strange because that seems like a player Washington would want to build around, and they just re-signed him from what Eric said. Like that, that's confusing.
Yeah, he got a poison pill provision. That's what it was. But they did just recently resign him. But I think he wanted out there because remember he was complaining. You're talking about Denny Avia, right? You're talking about
yeah.
Complaining about how the Knicks came down and they didn't have a home court advantage. This is like the Knicks took over, and he's like, "Our fans suck." This is what he said.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. No one called Denny a liar. That's what he that team sucks, man. And the fans.
Carrington.
So Bob Carrington. I hear a lot of people look at him. His game.
I know one Bob. I mean, that's Bob Turbish. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one Bob I know too.
Bob Carrington sounds like a mailman name.
Bob is a mailman.
Bob is a mailman, the guy we know. Bob.
Sounds like a mailman name.
Hold on.
Where Bob at?
Hold on. I'm not familiar with him. 2023-24 ACC All-Rookie Team. Came from out of Pittsburgh, guard.
People talked greatly about this kid. I didn't do my homework on him, so I don't want to misspeak about him.
Shot maker.
Yeah, he seems like he's a shot creator. Yep. Also, he's a lengthy kid.
I like it. Step back. Okay.
Shot making passing ability is what he's labeled as. He's like a tall kid. Wow, he's good. This feels like from the 1970s movies. He's black in position, the shirt open. Like he's about to go have a whole R&B concert.
No, baby. Yo, Devin, Carter, listen.
Carter killed it.
Let's do this, fellas. To me, the best, the emotional pick of the night was by Chicago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And seriously, I mean, I'm gonna cry. I got a tear right here almost. Seriously, I'm being very serious.
Yeah, I know you are.
And then we have to look at the pimp, the pimp pick. Had Carter.
Yeah, he was definitely pimping on that one. No,
we got Miami on right now coming up.
They
always draft well. They always draft.
But what is going on with Jimmy Butler, Joseph?
I don't know. I mean, we had that thing a while ago where Jimmy Butler was talking trash, and Pat Riley basically told him to shut up because he wasn't available. He can't talk trash.
Mm-hmm.
And Butler wants an extension. Miami's not interested in giving him an extension at this point. Other teams are interested in acquiring Butler and giving him that extension, but he has communicated to teams recently within the last 2 days that he does not want to leave Miami. So there seems like there's some kind of stalemate going on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's there's been a lot of you don't hear anything from anyone directly, but there's been a lot of talk about the Jimmy Butler situation in Miami.
I mean, to me, Jimmy Butler is correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, he's a modern day Scottie Pippen, man. I feel like Jimmy Butler, if he was to get himself together and like you said, get his mind focused, I feel like Jimmy Butler. Listen, Jimmy buckets. The guy can score the ball, but it's just a matter of what guy are we getting? And at this age, he's 34 years old.
Yeah.
He has to decide tonight if he's going to – he got to decide tonight if he's going to get his act together. Because you got about, 3-4 more years?
He's defied the clock, though, and man, he's clutch. He's clutch.
He's definitely.
I mean, it's undeniable.
Yeah. No, I agree. 34. You know, but Miami also too. I'm sitting here looking at their roster and their ages.
Yeah.
They're not a young team. Patty
No.
Mills is 35, Richardson 30, 28, Martin, Love 35, Butler 34, 26, and Abido and a bio.
Out of Bayou.
Bam. Thank
They
you.
just signed him to an extension too.
Bam. And Bryant 26. I mean, these guys aren't a super young 32.
What is Hero? Hero's how old? Hero's 20 in his 20s also.
Which one? Say it again.
Tyler Hero. I think he's in his early 20s.
24.
But they always pick up these fringe players in like the 20s that work out for them. Like Nikola Jovic it looks like he's going to be a player. Jamie Jaskowitz Jr. Like some of these guys they pick up in the late first round that wind up being players. So some of these guys they find like Caleb Martin out of nowhere, Duncan Robinson. I mean, this team just knows what they're doing, man.
Yeah,
they definitely do.
Hero, who has a terrible contract. They got him late in the draft too. He was another player that they kind of picked up that I don't think anybody expected him to be drafted where he was drafted, and yet he's turned out for them.
Yeah, he's turned out. He's Sixth Man of the Year. I think he won that award. And but you know, Riley calls him out also. So Riley's been calling out his whole team. So you know, which is typical of his fashion. I mean, he's definitely not. He's not light on the tongue. That's what definitely.
No, he's in his Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn.
Yes.
Right now.
That's good.
That was good.
If you're not playing, you can't talk trash.
Yeah. Tyler Hero, 2019 first round, picked him at 13. You know, born in 2000, 24 years old, 6'5", averaging 20 points a game, about 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, the thing about it is you put him on any other team, I feel like Tyler Hero is going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's just that on this team right here, it seems like there's a little stagnation going on. But if you took him and put him with Ja Morant on Memphis, if you took him and put him on, I'm like probably, well, who would you take? Tyler, or would you take, what is the gentleman's name? I'm drawing a blank from the Lakers.
Reeves.
Yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, I've always been a Tyler Hero fan. I mean, he doesn't play defense, but I wanted the Knicks to have him.
Oh, that would be a great.
I would take Reeves just for the contract. The contract makes a lot more sense than Hero's contract. Hero's contract is like at 30 per, I think.
This is Khalil Ware. The Miami Heat are taking Khalil Ware.
That's the guy I wanted, man.
Yeah. Khalil Ware, that's what they're taking.
But
which is weird because I wonder if they're going to move this because Bam plays center. So they're taking a center that makes little to no sense.
He could play the 4, though. I think probably.
Bam.
Khalil Ware, I think, could play the 4.
Are they taking?
Yeah, they're taking Ware. Khalil Ware.
Oh, you seen it already?
Tristan
I just saw a tweet that it was Khalil Ware.
Okay.
I was looking through.
Are you looking at Woj's thing right now? Because Woj hasn't posted in like.
No, it was Shams who actually do it. You know, they're in competition. They're at war with each other.
Yeah, I mean, Woj has been kind of like holding me up here. He hasn't made a tweet in 16 minutes.
Khalil Ware.
This is a big kid, man.
I do like this kid. I do like.
Yeah. There's a lot to like there, John.
He's going to definitely be a Miami fit. I mean, that's it. Like I said, that's if they keep him. It makes me wonder where does Bam fit in all this?
Bam, they just signed to like a 3-year, $163 million extension.
All right, hold on. We got up here. Very emotional. Very, very just man. I just love seeing it. I love this, you know, about the draft when when you see kids, young men, really showing emotions and family showing emotion, because it's life changing, man. It's
their dreams just came true, John. That's everything they've worked through in their entire life. It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah. Mother crying. Well, that's probably the aunt who just got the accountant. Probably, they're all crying.
Right, Woodson coached him.
Yeah, Woodson coached him. Yeah. Piece of the puzzle. He's a piece of the puzzle.
The only thing with this kid was his motor. They thought he drifted sometimes. Well, but, going to Miami will help that.
Yeah,
that's
the one thing I did hear about the motor, and that always concerns me because we've had Kevin Knox's, we've had those kind of players that at this level, I don't know how your motor, the Cam Reddish is. Your motor should not be a question when you're making that kind of move.
Well, you lazy. You listen. Your motor never, because you know what? Your motor should never, on this level, it's a blessing, man. I keep saying it over and over again. Like, you have to have a motor, man.
But you know something? Really, really gifted players, sometimes the game comes easy to them. And I'm going to throw out a name from way back. Stanley Roberts. Do you remember Stanley Roberts? LA Clippers center?
Yeah.
Gifted as they came, but it never meant that much to him. Yep. He didn't really have to work because it came to him. It just came easily to him. It wasn't something that he had to really work hard at. But that's true of a lot of these players. They're so gifted that they don't, they're not like a Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. Or Jimmy Butler, got to get it in the mud kind of players. Yeah, they got to work hard at their craft. Well, that's the same thing with what's his name? Cam Reddish was the same thing. One of the biggest teases is to watch Cam Reddish play and him jog up the court. It's like, dude, if you ever went full speed, you'd be an all-star. That's what it is. Yeah. If you went full speed, you'd be an all-star. And he just is very casual and very nonchalant. I thought him playing with LeBron. That's the one thing about when guys play with LeBron. If your game does not get to that level with a guy who's willing to pass you the ball, that tells me a lot about who you are as a person. Because that's when he had his elite level, is playing with someone who's willing to defer as a star to people who are less talented than him. And to know that Cam Reddish still couldn't take advantage of that is just amazing.
Yeah. And for those listening right now, just, you mentioned Stanley Roberts. I know some people, I didn't know who it was. A journeyman, kind of like in the league, 76ers, Rockets, Timberwolves, Clippers for 4 years. I think he finished his career with Orlando. 7 foot, currently 54 years old, living in Hopkins, South Carolina. So
there you go.
Seems like a player that was definitely had the height.
He was a big boy, but he had the most nimble feet, man. I saw him do some spin moves on people, left them in the dust, and really incredibly skilled. Your Lakers are up, man.
Oh no, Sixers. We're on the Sixers on.
Okay. Wait a minute. Lakers are up next.
This guy Dalton has to go. I'm surprised he's still here.
He's an older. He's like 23 years old. He's an older player, and he could definitely shoot it. But watching him, I didn't see much more game than that. Than him being like, who's that guy? Doug McDermott. He reminded me of Doug McDermott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely follow Tennessee. I'm not remembering his name, but pardon me, the point guard for Tennessee. Shorter point guard. I think he might be coming back this year. He might be done, but nonetheless, I thought Dalton. I thought he was a player that, like you said, he's a little bit more mature. I thought he'd make a good transition to the NBA. He definitely, took a leadership role at Tennessee. But like you said, I don't know. I'm just, I'm definitely. But once again, we talked about it. As good as he is, he still has not gone.
Yeah. He's a one-dimensional player. I mean, granted, that's a very valuable skill set to have.
Yeah.
But still, Jacoby Walker's still on the board, isn't he? and Tristan
Yep.
DeSilva. Isaiah Collier's still left. Your boy Bronny's running mate in USC. He's still on.
Yep. McCain from Duke, I think, still up. Here we go.
And Yves Missi. That would be an interesting pick for the Lakers. I don't want to jump the Sixers too much, but he was a center from Baylor. He might be interesting for the Lakers too when it comes down to it.
Yeah, what if the Lakers take Bronny right now?
I don't think they're going to have to.
Yeah.
He'll be available later on. But like we were saying in the chat, John, he could shoot and he could play defense. And I know that his as much as this year's been a disaster for the kid and it had to be terrible for him and his family to go through, he's shown well for the few visits he's done with teams. And if you could shoot and you could defend, you'll find a place in the league.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, and it's not, obviously I've grown to be not biased. And, I know what I kind of started doing this thing in sports and talking about sports. Like I was like, Bron, Laker. But, I'm a realist. And, Bronny definitely doesn't deserve to go first round. I mean, like I said, he can play basketball, but does he deserve a spot now based on performance? If it's based on performance, it's not. He just didn't do it.
What Rich Paul said about Bronny was that it doesn't matter so much when he goes, it matters where he goes. Mm-hmm. And it makes a lot of sense because the financial impact of going first round for second round is not something that's going to affect him. Whereas for some of these guys, it means everything. They have people that they want to take care of. They have things that they want to do, to provide stability for their family or whatever. Or just if they just want to pay off student loans, if they even have any of that. I mean, with Bronny, it's not necessarily when he goes, but he has to wind up in the right place.
Right, and I agree. And that was a good point because, like you. Trade announcement.
Oh, what's going on? Philly's trading that pick?
So Philly took Jared McCain, guard out of Duke.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I'm surprised he's still here.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
That's to me, one more time. To me, that's a great pick to play alongside of a healthy Embiid. And why am I drawing a blank right now? And the guy.
What's his name? Maxey.
Yeah, McCain. I think Maxey, McCain, Embiid. And he got his Goldie look on too. McCain got his Goldie. You wipe them tears up, McCain. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. Eat my caddy, baby.
Come on, baby. Go to Philly now. Philly cheesesteaks, baby. All right.
Got some Suave Mente's going on here.
Suave Mente.
Yes, man.
When he's got the tuxedo pants on with the satin stripe down the side of him going.
Suave.
Okay, big man.
I'm doing my Latino.
This is a good pick for them. This is definitely a good pick for them.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of guys that look like they're falling here. A couple of players. Dalton Knicked still has not been taken. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, he's not. He's in the. He's still in the room.
Okay.
Looking sad. He hasn't been taken.
Also, Jacoby Walter that's still sitting there. Tristan DeSilva, Isaiah Collier, Yves Missi. I think that this might be interesting with the Lakers.
Yeah, that might be.
That's somebody I really would like to see fall. I can picture him being a Knick.
Yeah, because the Lakers will need a center at some point.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Yves Missi.
Yeah, because AD's not trying to play center.
That kid could be a beast in a couple of years, man. He's got really great defensive instincts, and I mean, he's got springs for legs.
Yeah, this kid McCain, him and Maxey are going to have a nice, interesting backcourt here.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the even the off court stuff that he was doing, the videos and stuff. I mean, the kid is stocky, you know, in 6'2", 205. If he can knock down the shot, obviously, you know, he'll get with a shooting coach. And, you know, the thing about it is, if you got the confidence and you got the heart, you got the skill set, bro, you should be able to exist in this league right now.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, he got heart, you know, it's Duke. I mean, Lakers on the clock, yo.
Lakers on the clock.
Ronnie might be going round one.
Well, look, you know, it's so funny. I'm laughing at that, but there wasn't like that many great players that I would say he shouldn't go round one that I saw. But I think they're going to go for a center. I think Holmes will be the pick here. If I had to guess for the Lakers, he's ready made to compete right now.
Yeah, man, Dalton. I'm shocked, man. Do the Lakers take Dalton? I mean, you got Reeves already though. How old is Reeves?
I think they got to go center here.
Yeah, I think they're taking a big guy.
Lakers need a big man.
Yeah, because AD don't want to play center, so they got to give somebody to get on the boards. An athletic five would be great for the Lakers.
There's a rumor Deron Holmes has a promise somewhere late in the first round. I think they speculated Denver, but that's at pick 28.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it might be the Lakers here. That would be my guess if I had to think about Deron Holmes going.
You think Deron Holmes to the Lakers?
That would be my guess. Deron Holmes, or
are you really a center at 6'10", 235?
I don't know.
It depends.
Yeah,
it depends. I mean,
depends what the game is. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I'm looking at Lakers.
These goofy little like side things where they show the boardroom and they're all shaking hands. It's like, this is corny. You're like, you already know who you're picking. You're like I just made that decision right now. I'm not just talking about because of the Lakers. I'm talking about for all of them that do it. It's like, we need to see the boardroom. Meanwhile, Leon Rose is probably going to be tucked away with some ninjas.
They always do the mutual celebration, man. Like I want to see them like arguing and like fighting over the
exactly.
Like
the real business.
Yeah, grabbing another guy by the tie over the table, pulling
right.
It was the Dukes. We want to see stuff like that. That's what we want to see. It was the Dukes. Strangulation going on in the boardroom.
Yo, Lakers is so. I mean, I'm looking at the roster for the Lakers right now. And you said center, so far, Jackson Hayes, what was it, Castleton?
Yeah.
That's it, really. I mean, the power forwards is 6'8", no true centers. LeBron James is 6'9". So I would say probably a center, like Joe said. I mean, Hachimura is probably like 6'7". They got him listed as 6'8" with shoes on, probably.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Yves Macy on this one.
No, Dalton Hayes. They took Dalton Knicked, whatever his name is.
Really?
Yep, that's who they took.
Who are you following on Twitter right now?
No. I think my television is ahead of you guys, the broadcast.
Okay.
Dalton Knicked. This is all live on the TV that I'm seeing.
Yo, good pick. Good pick.
You can always use shooting, man. You can always use shooting.
They need shooting, too. The Lakers do need shooting, too.
Yeah, he fell quite a bit, man. A lot of people are expecting him to go like between 8 and 10.
Man, you better start smiling, man. You going with LeBron James. I'm sorry. See, the fan came out.
Fan came out. Put the fan back in. Unplug the fan. It's blowing too much air.
Right. He should close the LB. He should be like this, bro. Like, what's the matter with you, man?
He's a tall wing, like a kid that's a wing. He looks like he is. Well, him and Austin. Well, hopefully he plays better defense than Reeves because that's why Reeves gets smoked on the defense.
Yeah.
He gets handles on
Yeah,
that.
and from what I've seen, I'm doubting defense is this guy's forte.
Yeah. This is going to get interesting towards when the Knicks do pick because there's still some meat in this draft, and we're at the 18th pick now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting when we do get to that point.
Why don't you kind of backtrack, on the Knicks and some of the OG and some of the things that for people that might hop on late.
Yeah. So let's recap a couple of things. We're talking about obviously OG Anunoby, the $212.5 million. Eric's home somewhere throwing up because he's very sick about it. But we are in a talent acquisition era for the New York Knicks. I think the history, what we've seen with the Knicks, obviously, is over the last 2 seasons, and even mostly during the Tom Thibodeau tenure, they've been in the playoffs. And each year we've seen us, as a franchise, grow tier to tier. And we have, unfortunately, as of this year, due to injuries, is why we didn't advance any further. So the importance of OG and the record that was with OG. We're talking about I just read before they've not lost back-to-back games when anytime OG Anunoby started. And you wonder why he's getting that paycheck. That's why he's getting that paycheck. Because when he's in the game, the Knicks are an elite team.
Yeah.
Championship elite level team. And now they've added Mikal Bridges on top of that. So when you put those two wings together in a league full of what I always say we need, Buffalo Wild Wings. This is what I'm talking about. This is a Buffalo Wild Wing era. You need some wings. In fact, I think the Knicks could draft another wing, and I wouldn't be too mad about it because you got to have those hybrid bodies that you can throw, and especially on the defensive end. But the Knicks are now in a position, probably the best position we, as Knicks fans, have seen in a very long time. They are contenders when healthy. So, you're getting back Julius Randle. What we may lose is our center, Isaiah Hartenstein. He was a vital part to what the Knicks did. I really liked him as a player. But, what we might see in this draft is the Knicks try to address a replacement for him due to the fact, Mitchell Robinson is always going to miss a lot of games. So
the center market's drying up, though.
It is. So I'm thinking the Knicks will pick someone who's along the lines of a Precious Achiuwa type with a little bit more height. That's what I would think they're probably going to go with if a true center is not available at the 5 spot. So
this is one of the weaknesses of this team is we're not a long team.
Yes. Yeah,
and you've talked extensively about this. So long teams give us problems, and losing Hartenstein is not going to help that situation. So you really hope that somebody comes along that we could plug in at the center position. But there are also a number of free agents. Jonas Valanciunas is going to be a free agent. Yes. Not necessarily a rim protector, but a solid all-around center, good player. We'll have to see how the market shakes out. They've mentioned, I think, someone from Orlando, a free agent from Orlando that I'd never heard of that the Knicks were possibly looking at. But it'd be funny with all of those perimeter defenders that we had right now if we did wind up getting Ryan Dunn, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, we know that Tom Thibodeau would actually Tristan Da Silva is going to Orlando.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah. So they have their forward now. If Orlando can actually figure out, well, I guess it would be a small forward because we know Powell is going to be the dog there. So he's the power forward.
And Franz Wagner, too. I mean, and Mo Wagner. I mean, they're really flooded at the forward position. They get a lot of talent there. But I guess it's just best player available type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed to figure out the point guard situation because they got a redundancy at point guard. You got Suggs. You also got Anthony. Cole Anthony.
You
got Fultz. You got a bunch of redundancy in Orlando as well. Maybe that's why those teams are not as well. Although Orlando's good because it's mostly because of Powell and Wagner, but they got to do something different. I don't know what they need. I think they really do need that point guard. I would have thought Emmanuel Quickly would have been a guy that they would have went after. When he, I think he would be a person that you would put in at that one spot and let him direct it. And he's also a scorer. Is he a traditional point guard? No. But man, that's dynamic. If he was on that team, you can get rid of a couple of those other bags that you don't need to go grocery shopping with. So
even in this draft, like I was surprised they didn't go with Isaiah Collier.
Yep.
But I think it was just a best player available kind of thing.
Yeah, and once again, he's a forward. I told you, it's all Buffalo Wild Wings from now on.
Yeah.
These guys you're getting guys who can stretch the floor that play the wing position. I think this 40% from three, you're going to get him.
Yeah.
This guy's tape, he impressed me.
18th pick. Might as well take some. Well, I can understand it. They just need to find a direction at the one. Right? Like I said, Markelle Fultz has always been, obviously, he was the number one pick. Extremely talented, but after the yips with the shoulders and all that.
Yeah, that shoulder industry had folks. I was a huge Markelle fan as well. You know, when he first came to the league, huge fan. And I still am. Obviously, I'm pulling for him. Hopefully, that he can overcome the shoulder and bounce back. But he was never the same. And like you said, you know, Cole Anthony. You know, what are we gonna do? I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher his name, but what was it? Paolo. You know, he ran the point a lot.
Yeah.
He at 6'10", probably 6'8", 6'9". I don't know if I want him pushing the ball. I think he plays off of the ball. So once again, Orlando, one of them teams, the same as like to me as like Washington, Atlanta, Houston. Like, what are you guys doing? You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about Markelle Fultz's injury. They called it thoracic outlet syndrome at the time. And I don't even think they know what the hell that is. I don't think anybody knew what was wrong with Markelle Fultz because he was like having like this weird spasming stuff that he would do from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's still a big mystery of what was going on with Markelle Fultz.
That was good. I didn't even know that. I mean, that the name of what he was going. Yeah, it was almost similar to Lonzo Ball. You know, when Lonzo Ball first initially had his knee problem, and you know, no one really knew, you know, what the situation was. So Markelle Fultz, once again, a really good point guard. Orlando has a bunch of good talent. You know, Black, Wendell Carter Jr. Folks.
I like him.
Yep, even with the kid Jonathan Isaac. I mean, just, you know, from Florida State, they have a lot of good talent, but they just got to find their identity. I mean, like you said, whose team is it? Is it PB's team? O's team? Whose team is it?
I would say it's probably Banchero's team. I think he's the major talent. I mean, as much as I like Franz Wagner and I like him a lot, Banchero seems to really be the cream of that team. And he seems to have a personality that's consistent with leadership, even though he is still young. He's kind of a fiery dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good and I remember people were surprised when he went number one, but I think, you know, judging the way that draft looks like it was shaking out from right now, he was the right pick.
Yeah.
And it's funny with Duke guys, you know, I remember for many years, Duke players didn't seem to translate well into the pros, and that's really changed. He was a Duke player.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he looks good.
No, that's very true. Duke players are usually injury prone or not living up to the stardom they had in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very few of them. RJ Barrett might have been the healthiest one so far, which is kind of funny that RJ is the most durable Duke player. Maybe Banchero is now, but Dukes have always found some injury, some weird injury that cut their careers short. With Grant Hill, we saw it with Early.
Grant Hill.
You know, we saw with what's his name?
Leitner never turned out to anything significant. Shane Battier was a high-level role player.
And the kid who had the motorcycle accident, he was on Jason Williams. Jay Williams. He was. You know, he had that. He tore up his knee during the motorcycle. None of these guys. JJ Redick. I mean, he had a decent, I guess, an okay career.
He had a good career.
Hurley too. Bobby Hurley.
Hurley.
Yeah. That car accident too, man.
Yeah.
Ruined his career.
I mean, if we look back at it, I mean, we could really, like you just said, like from Grant Hill to Bobby Hurley, Jay Will, who's the analyst over at ESPN now, doing very well. What he does, and but they would be under what they call like the bad cloud. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say I'm a Christian-hearted man, so I don't want to say curse. But a bad cloud.
No tornado following them around.
Yeah, I don't know. Duke just seems to. So hopefully with this new class, McCain and this new class of players, and
that's okay.
Yeah, Filikowski's going to probably get drafted too from Duke.
Well, that might be one of the ones you might see for the Knicks. Is Filikowski? Yeah, he might be the one. Maybe that the Knicks select. It will be interesting to see what the Knicks picks are going to be interesting because we do want to see what. Not because I'm a fan, but it does make you wonder after these two trades which direction they look to go. Do they look for depth at the wing still, or do they look at depth from the center position and think to select two of those? So.
If they do go wing, the name to keep an eye on that I see isn't really kind of developing, and he recently just got acquitted over some accusations, some legal accusations. Terrence Shannon's a guy to keep an eye on.
He's a downhill player.
Yeah.
He's a downhill player. He may go here with Toronto. Let's see. Toronto's about to select. Pick number 21.
They could very well go center, too.
They took Jacoby Walter.
Yeah, he dropped a little bit.
In Baylor.
Most of the drafts, he was kind of just on the outside of the lottery.
Jacoby got on the Eddie Murphy Raw. Was it Raw? Yeah, the Raw pants. The purple outfit he had on.
Oh, yeah. He
had the whole suit on.
That was the one where he had to keep moving really quickly because people were looking at his rear end.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics, but.
Like he went to Earl Shine and painted it on. Yeah, it was one of those painted on joints. This kid got the suit version of it.
Hey man, if you can pull it, at least he can pull it off, man. I mean, nothing for nothing. If I tried to wear that thing, I'd be a laughing stock.
Yeah, I'm laughing at this kid, so you definitely would have been even more of a laughing stock.
It's a long road. He's getting drafted tonight, and my thing is, you still have to make the team. To me, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that concept. Yeah,
he has good height, and I think I've definitely seen him play, but it's a matter of if Toronto really believes in. Well, obviously they believe in him if they drafted him, so he just has to show what he can do when he gets there.
Well, it's a unique thing here because he seems like he's a wing. He's a defender. It seems like another Scotty Barnes kind of type. Although I'm wondering what they're doing with Scotty Barnes because I know they paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, they did.
And not that I dislike Scotty. I'm just like, well, who are you building around? Because you got R.J. Barrett there now.
Right.
You got Emmanuel quickly. Now you
got roster makes no sense.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a bunch of redundant pieces. I mean, unless RJ it wouldn't make sense to move him, and he's a Canadian. I mean, he's got to be helping to bring in some attention to that franchise. Yeah, this is dynamic because you got kind of a redundancy in a sense. Because Barnes is not going to be an offensive player. I think he could end up being maybe defensive player of the year at some point if he focuses on that end. But I don't like his offensive game. I wouldn't be particularly scared if somebody said Scotty Barnes is about to shoot unless he had a gun. I wouldn't.
Something though. I got a lot of trust with the man that's running that franchise. I think he is smart.
Yes, he is.
And I think it's what we talked about before. They're just accumulating talent, just like Portland is. And then they figure out, okay, we've got all these players. What are we doing with them? What makes sense? What doesn't make sense?
So we have Cleveland Cavaliers on the clock. They're making the 22nd pick.
I feel like Cleveland is once again another one of those teams, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, whose team is it? It's just I just don't like teams like that just don't have no direction. I don't know.
Yeah, because Garland and obviously Donovan Mitchell are not a great match. I mean that reminds me of like Trae Young with with Murray. I just never thought that it made any sense. You got
Well,
sort of redundancy at that position. One guy needs the ball a lot, and the other guy needs the ball a lot. They're undersized. They're not great defenders. So I don't know. They've been talking about trying to move. I think Rich Paul is the one who manages Garland's career.
Oh, Rich Paul does.
Yeah, so there's been talks about him moving, wanting to get out of Cleveland from underneath Donovan Mitchell, which it would make sense. Because I thought Cleveland was better suited before they traded for Mitchell. I know Mitchell's a great talent, but when looking back, that team was on the cusp of doing something really solid with their drafting and the talent they had in place. Then all of a sudden, you've wiped that completely clean for a guy who is capable of scoring 50 points, and he's also capable of coming to the Garden and window watching the fandom in there. So I'm like, wow, this feels great, but your team is losing. Like you're acknowledging the fan base of New York and being home, but your team is losing. I don't know how I would feel about him as a teammate if I was one of his teammates, knowing that you went shopping in New York while we were in the playoffs. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to probably give up on him. They're probably going to re-sign him. But if I'm Garland, I want out of there too. Why would I want to stay in there? I would want to stay in there.
If you look at the team, and once again, I've been going to the rosters. Like I'll see Cleveland, and I'll go to the rosters. I mean, Jarrett Allen, 6'9". Is he a true center? He's 243 pounds. I mean, but I see Imani Bates here. I haven't heard much about much from Imani Bates, but obviously Imani Bates, Garland, Jones, LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, Mobley, Isaiah Mobley. Just trying to see some names that kind of jump out at me that make me say, okay, well, and there's a lot of salaries out there too. A lot of salaries out there.
Yeah. You know, Isaiah Collier would make sense here.
I just
A lot of what we were just talking about.
Okoro was one of those picks that they probably should have taken Obi over Okoro. That probably would have made more sense. But he's just a wing. Who's a defensive wing. I don't think he's ever going to develop into a two-way threat.
He's a good defensive wing too.
But the defense is there.
Developed anything resembling an offense that's going to keep you up at night.
Yeah, and that's what they need. I think they need a wing type of player that they can count on at that position. That's a dynamic wing. I mean,
they talking about some kid named George, 6'7", looks like he's from the University of Miami.
Yeah,
Kaishan George.
Yeah.
He's a wing.
He may be in the and then it's a J. What is it? Furry.
Furphy.
Furphy.
Yeah, he was the guy I picked for the Knicks late draft. He's going to be a project a little bit. He's very undersized. He has skills, but he's skinny.
Johnny Furphy, shooting guard.
Yeah, Johnny Furphy, and he needs to develop. He's a project. He's got it's a nice base that he has, but he's not a great shooter right now. He's undersized. He's not in his man body. He's definitely one of those project, players if you're going to pick him. This would probably be. I mean, I'm surprised. Watch, they'll probably pick Sharp. I wouldn't know. What's his name? Shannon. Darren Shannon. We might go with him. You never know.
Terrence Shannon.
Wouldn't Sharp?
We're starting to get
par for the course for them for Cleveland.
We're starting to get close here, Ty. These next couple of picks are going to shape our draft. We've got a bunch of guys that are still interesting. Ryan Dunn's still on. Terrence Sharon. My guy Yves Misi is still on the board here.
This is a good pick for them. Jalen Tyson. That's good. That was my dude.
Tyson.
This is a good pick for them. Although he's a small forward, but he's skilled. This is a good. Now it's a good pick, but he also requires having the ball. So if we're talking from a talent perspective.
What is he, a small forward?
Yeah, he's a small forward.
He's for Cal, right?
Cal, yeah. He's one of the dudes I talked about towards the end of the draft, but he's shot up the ladder a lot. He's got a smooth game. But once again, how is that game going to come across when you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell who he's going to have the ball. He's going to have the ball more than anyone. So you need this kid to play off the ball. So you need a wing that's a shooter. You don't need someone who needs the ball. So this is, once again, he needs the ball. Darius Garland needs the ball, and now Donovan Mitchell needs the ball. So how's that supposed to work? Cleveland has a problem. Unless this guy's being drafted for someone else.
That's the one thing that, once again, a couple of pet peeves that I have with ball players. Players that need the ball.
Yeah,
I feel like it takes a special type of player to say, hey, like Luka, okay, you need the ball, but in order for this to work, you have to be a team player.
Absolutely.
I get it. Donovan Mitchell, you need the ball. You can score. But if other players are not scoring on your team, then Cleveland, despite having a pretty decent pick right here, they're not really going to make an impact in the run. I mean, they're just not going to beat New York Knicks. They're not going to beat, Boston. I mean, you may beat Detroit or Atlanta, but you're not really making a run if Donovan Mitchell feels like he is the player that has to have the ball in his hand all the time. Somebody else has to step up, or be committed to step up.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one.
I have to tell you guys, as far as Cleveland goes, with all the young talent they had, I really felt like in some ways Donovan Mitchell was the worst thing that can happen to that team.
I agree. I agree. I thought they were better before him. I didn't think that he helped them at all.
The best talent on that team is Evan Mobley.
Yeah. And he's basically been turned into being a rim runner and a rebounder. Meanwhile, he should be when Wembanyama is, minus the perimeter game, he should be a scorer of that magnitude in the paint and be able to demand a bunch of double teams when he catches the ball. But they don't keep it at all. Mobley
didn't want to go there either.
Yeah.
His representation didn't want him to go to Cleveland. They're going to have to re-sign him soon, too.
We're on the clock. Who's on the clock? We have New Orleans on the clock.
New Orleans, yeah. They just had Zion?
Yes, sir.
Disappointed in Zion.
Yes, he is much a disappointment.
You mean Buffalo Wild Wings?
The real Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
We Buffalo girls come around the outside Wild Wings.
It's just a big back.
How big is back?
Big back for no reason. I mean, come on, Zion. You get to the league, right? You get drafted. You in high school dominating. You get to the league and you start eating too much Taco Bell, bro.
Beignets is good, man. They say I never had them, but
and then he started going to the strip club.
Yeah,
he looks like Kyle Lowry's bigger brother. He's got like a big ass,
like a Kyle Lowry double.
Well, big double.
It's just a bad look, man. Just I mean, he has to once again. He has to really decide in his tonight. If he's going to be a basketball player, or is he just going to be that dude that just you can't even control yourself?
Yves Missy is going to New Orleans. They need him.
He got that stripper eye too. He got a stripper eye in him.
So what do you guys think is going to happen to Brandon Ingram?
They want Philly might be the answer. That might be where you see him in.
I like that. If he stops smoking so much.
Yeah, he's doing something. There's some extracurriculars going on. You can't catch that
haze every day. Like every day, yo. Come on, man.
It's just amazing sometimes when they get to this level.
Yeah.
It's such an honor, and more so just being an overall blessing to be in those positions and to know that these kids are willing to just go waste it all on. Like, why would you want to be here and be on camera all the time and not look like a winner or someone trying to win all the time? to know you have these extracurricular things that you are doing that have nothing to do with winning. I'd be embarrassed collecting that check and not trying to win my team a title. That's what I'd be embarrassed not doing. But we're cut from a different cloth these days.
I got to be honest. I don't like the way the sport's dropping for us.
Yep, it's going to be a little interesting. We have next up is Phoenix at 22, so we're creeping towards the Knicks. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting right now.
I think, but honestly though, like just jumping back to the Knicks, because this is the New York Knicks platform. I mean, I feel like the Knicks just can't lose. Like regardless of what, this is just me looking on the. I mean, I know like you guys probably have a little bit more insight on the Knicks, but from the outside looking in, I feel like the Knicks already they could choose Bronny Jr. right now if they wanted to. I just don't. I mean, to me the Knicks.
I would laugh my ass off if they took Bronny James.
Yo, I just feel like the Knicks already won. The Knicks OG in position.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle coming back healthy, understanding the system now. I don't want to see Hartenstein go. I mean,
nobody wants that, man.
He has to stay. Hartenstein's staying. You got Bridges now. I think you got Hart. You got the other two guys that come off the bench. I forgot their names, but the Knicks, they already, to me, the Knicks won.
The Knicks won when they got healthy. They literally signed these two. Bridges was overkill, and then getting OG back. And if they're healthy, Randall's like getting another All-Star. You added like 3 All-Star caliber, well, at least 2 caliber All-Star players. Randall coming back healthy, and now you got a perennial one if Mikal Bridges was ever in the conversation, not playing small forward. So the Knicks added like some incredible depth for a team that almost got to I keep telling people, they almost got to the Eastern Conference Finals with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo.
Yep, and it's messed up. It's really messed up that, I mean, like, and once again, I mean, I feel like everybody at one point started rooting for the Knicks because, especially if you live in New York, like I think either you, Eric, somebody said it, if you live in New York, man, like you have to have a little New York Knicks blood in you. And I feel like they literally were right there. But then when Brunson got that foot injury, and it goes to show you, once you get those injuries, it's really a wrap after that. And I knew when OG had pulled that hamstring, I think it was a hamstring, I was like, well, there you go. It was really out of reach at that point,
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we can look also, I think who's been talked about at this Phoenix pick has been Kolick. The kid from Creighton, I think. Is he from Creighton?
Hold on.
Shireman?
No, Kolick. He's the point guard.
He's the point guard?
Oh, yeah.
Talked about, I think, with Phoenix. I would also look for Holmes here maybe also as another option. I mean, Phoenix doesn't have a lot of depth due to the fact they got the heavy price tag on that roster. So it will be interesting to see what type of talent they believe they need. I just don't buy Devin Booker ever playing point. That's something that's always been a little weird to me. I never bought that. I think that they got to choose a direction on who is going to defer off the ball. And I just don't think that – I think I'd rather have Devin as my 2 guard and Kevin Durant as my small forward and have a heady point guard to say, you go here. Beal is not the answer. Beal should be on the bench.
Isaiah Collier's falling, the point guard from USC.
Yeah, maybe that's where we might see a little something happen there because
if he drops, I would scoop him up with the Knicks.
Who's the center on Phoenix? Oh, it's what's his name?
Oh, wait a minute. He's
Jurek.
I got you right.
Not Gilbert, but he's Jurek. He's Jurek, I think. Whatever.
Yeah, he's a Euro. He was drafted by Denver.
I got you right here.
Jurek, whatever.
The center for the Phoenix.
Yeah, Juric, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
He's a Euro. It's not Jokic. He's the opposite of Jokic. They both were on the same team, by the way.
Right.
Joseph Urich or something.
Yeah. He's a center. So I don't know if that's the best center for that kind of team because I think Phoenix needs to play a little bit faster. Also,
Yeah.
They need some things because I thought when Durant was in Brooklyn, how we saw him play against Boston in that series. Boston took him out of his game. They annihilated him, in my opinion. I just think that you can't be relying on Kevin Durant. The age is definitely going to catch up. I think Beal's washed. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's not looking good at all.
Yeah, he's not whatever.
Nurkic.
He's not that. He's not
Nurkic.
He's not that old. I mean, Beal something. It's just something. Yo, it's a lot of talent in Phoenix.
Ron Holmes went to Phoenix.
Ron Holmes.
Mm-hmm. Out of Dayton. That was
the Knicks?
Oh wait, here we go. The Nuggets are trading up for him. Hold on. Yeah, the Nuggets. That was the team that was interested in Holmes.
Wow.
Nuggets traded up for him.
So the Nuggets traded for him.
Yep.
What are they giving up for him is the question. Also, they probably swap picks, I guess, so to say.
Something.
Okay, father and son. Yo,
one more pick until the Knicks, man. Milwaukee's on.
So let's see who we have. Denver has landed the Suns number 22 pick. The Nuggets are sending Phoenix number 28, number 56, and 2 future seconds. Wow, they must have really wanted Holmes.
I heard rumors that he had a promise. A promise from Denver.
Well, this is a good pickup for Denver because Denver needed this guy. They needed that type because, I mean, unless you, believe in that Michael Porter Jr. is going to suddenly start playing defense.
I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was playing.
He's cooked now. I'm convinced he's cooked.
Now, you think now he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was just a side of him when watching. It seemed like he lost a little bit. Because the one thing I don't like about him is that, and I know he has back issues too, but it's always a pull-up three. It's nothing else. It's like running off the bounce.
No.
There's no versatility to his game. It's like die by the three. And I think he's better than what he is too.
I think his injuries are really, really significant. And I think, sadly, he's going to be a guy at my age walking with a cane.
That'd be very true.
We had.
I had heard all of the prep work that he has to do just to get on the court.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. We're getting close, fellas.
Yeah.
All Knicked Up family, we're getting real close. We're 1 pick away from selecting. We have Milwaukee on the clock now at 23, obviously, and then we'll have the New York Knicks. I'm on the show. You might get booed, you might get cheers. We don't know what's going to happen right now.
Look at the people I'm looking at right now is Ryan Dunn. I'm looking at Isaiah Collier, and I'm looking at Terrence Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I think
none of them are centers.
I think Dunn is very realistic for the Knicks at 24. I wouldn't be shocked. That would not shock me unless he goes to Milwaukee, which wouldn't make much sense. I don't think they need somebody who cannot not score. In fact, they do need to get younger. Maybe Collick goes. You might see Collick go here to Milwaukee. I would think that might be the move. They do need a point guard because they can't rely on Dame to be the point guard. He needs to be off the ball.
Dame.
And he's supposedly got some toughness to him, Tyler Collick. I mean, I
agree with that.
Yeah, they say he's got big game moments also in him. So, or this could be Baylor. Baylor too. Sherbert. I never get his name right.
I can't pronounce that thing. The guy from Creighton.
Yeah, no, that dude. They said that he shot during the workouts 85 out of 100 threes he made. Somebody can shoot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that might be where you see, but this will be interesting. The Knicks, John, you brought up somebody. You're right. The Knicks are playing with a lot of house money right now. It's like They really can't go wrong drafting.
No, they gotta take best talent available at this point. If there isn't a center out there that makes sense, they need to go best talent available with these picks. And I really think that's looking like some combination of. I think they got to pull Isaiah Collier unless he gets drafted here.
There's about 8 centers left in the draft. Are you saying that the Knicks need to draft the big, or?
I don't think so at this point. The next big that comes up is Filikowski, and I don't think he's worth a number 1 pick. I don't think he's going to translate well at the next level.
I think it's going to be Ryan Dunn and Sherman. Whatever his name is. Yeah, the kid. I think that's who's going to be.
They have
Filikowski may go here. He may go right here. That would be kind of a Milwaukee move. They love having their centers shoot threes and have a very long front court.
That's true. That's true. And they get a Brook Lopez problem.
Yeah. He's a power forward too. He's listed as the power forward in the draft.
Oh yeah, he'll play. He played a lot of center in college, but he's not going to be a center in the pros. No way.
Yeah. So
he's definitely yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Flipowski. I like him. He shoots the 3-ball too, though.
Shout out, coach.
Yeah, he could shoot. I think he shot like 36 or 37% from 3. And also, one nice thing about his game is he distributes well for a big man. He's got good court sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, is he going to be? Does he have the Duke tornado behind him? Is he going to be healthy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we talked about that as far as those Duke players, but and you mean Flipowski going to the Knicks? You mean?
No, I think he might go to Milwaukee.
I don't see him as a Knick.
Mm-hmm. Athleticism. They talking about Johnny. What is it?
Murphy?
Yeah.
Wow.
That looks like a room full of people that are just waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Read this pick.
I mean, it would be a interesting pick, but it's a rebuilding piece. I wouldn't think that Milwaukee, they're trying to compete for a title. I don't know why they would get somebody who's not ready made. It should be interesting. Well, it's interesting from here on out because the Knicks do got some talent on the board now with these next. This is gold right now for Knicks fans.
Dude, Ty, man, how much would you pay to have somebody just walk up behind Richard Jefferson and slap him in his head?
Well, you ain't really got to pay nobody. You send me there with a ticket.
Yeah, I can't stand Richard Jefferson.
There's a mosquito podium and get a slapping. You like, we got my Dragonfly Jones from Martin.
And rip it and tear his shirt a little longer. He's going to have 3 buttons. Tear down to his belly button.
Wow, AJ Johnson. AJ Johnson to Milwaukee.
AJ Johnson.
I don't even know who that is.
They say United States. AJ Johnson. Who?
I have no idea who that is.
How's that supposed to work? He looks like he's 12. Anybody know about AJ Johnson?
I don't know anything about AJ Johnson.
Now,
I didn't see any tape on him, nothing.
He came out the stadium, out of the stands. He wasn't even in the green room. So
he looks like he was with Lil Wayne before this.
I mean, doesn't he? He's fine.
Yeah, the mock that I'm at right now is looking at him going at 40.
He looks 10 years old.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, I don't have anything on him. AJ Johnson, guard.
From where? Oh, Kitty Academy,
brother. I'm getting some sideline reviews saying that this may be Jalen Green's little brother. I don't know. I don't know though.
What is? Oh, he must play in Australia.
He's a young man. Look at him. Wow.
He was in the 11th grade last year, looks like. NBA draft, United States, 6'4".
What a pick, man! This is
Yeah, I
like,
can't wait to see the tape on this kid.
I'm watching him, but he doesn't. I'm not being funny. He might be very skilled, but he does not look
like long ball
at all.
Got a little LeBron James in him. No pun intended.
He must be talented for them to take him at this level. This is a heck of a
goodness.
He came out of nowhere. For us, I mean, as people watching, our tankathons and our mock drafts, and they didn't say United States on his name, so that lets you know he probably was one of those kids that probably played high school over in Australia, because the footage was from the Australia court, but clearly somebody knows him.
Like Pakistan.
Tyshawn George is still out there too, huh?
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
All that we've been waiting for, the New York Knicks.
Why we stayed up
the clock. So, I don't know. We got a lot of options here. A couple of players are obviously off the board that were some of our favorites, but I don't think the Knicks can do wrong, like Jonathan said. I don't think they can do anything wrong here, other than they draft somebody who's undraftable. I mean, that's really
best player available. That's what they got to do.
Yeah, because right now you've got a lot of options to further strengthen your bench. This is what it's all about. This is about depth and future for the Knicks. So who's ready made? I mean, we know about Ryan Dunn. This might be the pick where you see him. They get it done with Ryan Dunn. This might be it. But you got to also, that the Knicks are going to search for guys that are ready to play. So you're looking for seniors, third, fourth year college players. This would be the idea, what I would be thinking that the Knicks are going to probably look at, given that Tom Thibodeau is not going to probably play anyone who's not over 50 years old. So this is what we're stuck with.
I got a question from Tom Weirman, guy that I know. He hopped on super quick, but had to jump off. He didn't get a chance to hop on the chat, but he wanted the group to say, he said, okay, you guys follow the NBA much closer than he does. Bridges, is he a legit player? With him in the lineup, do they have a chance to challenge Boston? He wanted to hear some thoughts on that.
Absolutely, Tom. Shout out for watching the show as well.
Of course.
This is an elite move for the Knicks, because right now you now have two superior wings who are both first defenders. That's what they do the best, is they defend the perimeter, and Boston has two superior wings. So what you're looking at, this is matchup issues, but they also are scorers. Both of these guys are high, shoot the three-point shot very high. I think Bridges is 40%. OG, we know, I think is like 37, 38%. So these are classic 3-and-D guys at a very high level. And that's what you need in this league to stop any team, not just the Boston Celtics. Because I don't truly buy Boston as being this big juggernaut. I think they caught a lot of lightning in the bottle. A lot of injuries. Butler was injured.
I like how we match up with them now.
Yeah, we match very well with them and any other team in the league outside of somebody with a center like Jokic.
Or now, even Embiid, a healthy Embiid, we don't match up.
You're right. Yeah. So that's our opinion. I'm going to let Joe talk about it too. What do you think, Joe? What do you think we match up?
What do we think we match up with? With who?
Well, Tom was asking about Boston. So Boston would be the first part. But
Boston, I think that's exactly why we've made the moves that we made right now. I mean, you're talking defensively about OG putting him on, either one of them really. The strength of Boston's team is really their wings. Tatum, Brown, put some kind of combination of OG possibly on Tatum, and it's just defensively the possibilities right now. They're going to have to work for everything. Boston, I just really think we match up well with them. I think our bench is going to be stronger with them. When you look at ideas like Devo and Josh Hart coming off the bench, those are going to be our bench guys.
Yeah, like
I just want to pause for 1 sec on that. The coach is saying this, and it seems like it might be coming true. The Knicks are trading the 25th pick. No, what does he said here? Hold on, I'm going to go here. Thanks, Coach, for the insight. 26 and 51. So the Knicks just traded our pick, which would have been the 25th pick, to Washington for the 26th pick and the 51st pick.
No, Knicks are drafting at the 25th and 26th pick. I think Woj just said.
Well, they are. So I don't know. We're going to see, buddy. We don't know. But it says a trade proposal is up. What is that for? What is the trade proposal? Proposed trade with Washington, it says on the screen. Oh, God. It would be typical. This is definitely more Knick moves.
It says round 1, 25th and 26th. Playmaking guard. Jefferson, team needs playmaking guard. Looks like. I don't know.
Tyshawn George from Miami, he's getting shipped. He's not.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to Washington.
Yeah, he's going to. He's not a Knick player. His motor's very low.
Tyshawn Jones.
Tyshawn George. He's from Miami. His motor's not a Tom Thibodeau type player, unless something shocked me. He's definitely getting traded. He's not going to be in that.
Lying, yo.
I don't think so.
We can't.
Hold on. Let's see what Woj was saying on Twitter.
He's another one. He looks like a child.
He's not ready for Tom Thibodeau. I can tell you that much.
He's not ready for the Big Apple trying to get in the building.
They say Knicks are. Adrian Wojnarowski said the Knicks are in talks on moving number 26. Sources tell they're selecting at number 25 now. The Knicks will now be selecting at number 25 and number 26. Sources tell. So what are they at 20? Well, that's just confusing. What is that supposed to mean?
Well, we're selecting at 25 and 26 now, and we're also going to have second rounders at 38 and 51 is what it looks like right now.
Yeah, because they're saying that they're in talks to move number 26. This kid better have a good motor, man, because he didn't look like it before. But maybe his workouts were different.
He's not no Knick, man. I mean, I'm not. Listen. I'm an outsider looking in. He don't look like a New York Knick.
No, he doesn't.
He don't look like he. Wait. I'll tell you right now.
No, he ain't got no dog in him. No. So he's being a proposed trade. So he's going to Washington.
Yeah.
He's not in New York.
Washington. So they're sending the 24th pick to Washington, which would be this pick. And they're
the 26th pick and the 50th pick.
Yeah. So they're gaining another 2 picks out of it.
So they'll have 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders in this trade.
And 2 second rounders now. Because that kid is not. I've watched that kid. I'm like, that kid is definitely not.
No.
I don't know.
He was one of the kids that said had a slow motor. I'm like, who's picking him? He's not going to the Knicks. No way, no how.
Yeah, I don't know this kid.
He was slotted to go higher. He was mocked in a lot of areas to go much higher than this, too.
Well, what is happening is that he probably worked out and they saw Kevin Knox, little twin, because he's Kevin Knox. 7 Knox is Kevin Knox brother 7 Knox because he had a slow motor and
he not no Bridges.
No, if you're not a dog, you ain't getting on the Knicks. You just might as well just go home. They want dogs.
You gotta be
Dunn right here. That might be the 26th pick, and maybe that's why they picked him up because Dunn is falling probably because of his shooting is not there.
What about that dude? What about the dude we were talking about from Creighton, the one that had 85 out of 100 3-pointers? We could use him to stretch the floor.
That's Baylor Sherman. Yeah. That dude, the Knicks might behoove them to try that dude.
Yeah.
He's lit and he's competitive from what I understand. So that would be a Tom, and he's a 3-year player, I believe, from Creighton. I could see.
Yeah, he was a senior.
So here we go. We're on the clock for the 25th.
Yeah.
and then we're taking Washington's pick for the 26th. we gonna move when we're Knicks. The Knicks is always moving picks.
So wait a minute. So the 25th pick is
we're keeping the 25th and the 26th. We're taking Washington's 26th. So Washington basically drafted Keyshawn George.
And then they traded it for the 26th and the 50, either the 50th or the 51st pick.
So the Knicks now have 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders. This is crazy.
okay. He's a diehard fan, whoever this guy is.
I think it's par for the course. Anybody who's a Knicks fan for the last several years know that we're moving a pick down or back.
Yeah.
This is Doc Oller's MO. He's don't ever on where we're picking because he's going to move back at some point for some reason.
Yeah, Leon Rose won't talk to the press, but he'll wheel and deal.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you one thing. I was saying today in watching the success of the Knicks between no one kind of thought that OG would be tradable from Toronto, being that the Knicks are suing them, and no one saw the Brooklyn thing coming. Leon Rose don't got to talk to nobody.
No.
He don't got to talk to nobody.
That whole place is airtight.
And for people who want a state of the address on the Knicks, they're winning. That's the state of the address. That's the way I look at it now.
But the gentleman that was just picked, the dude that we was like, he doesn't have the dog in him.
Yeah.
So we didn't pick him.
They
moved him for
Washington.
Yeah, they moved him to Washington for the 26th pick, and it looks like the 52nd pick, if I'm seeing on this mock correctly.
Yeah, so, Jonathan, the Knicks selected him, but they're trading him to Washington in favor of getting the 26th pick and either the 51st or the 52nd pick.
Yeah,
I think it's 51st. They're saying Coach said 51st. So the Knicks basically added another – they traded back 2 spots.
2 spots and got a second-round pick.
That spot and an extra second rounder.
So the 38th pick then?
No, the 51st. We have the 38th pick going into this draft.
So they have 2 now, 2 second rounders. So they have the 38th and the 51, which means they're probably going to try to package those and move up to the late second round.
All right, picks in.
All right, we'll see who they go with. It's probably Ryan Dunn. I can't see it not being him. Ryan Dunn's either going on this one or he's probably going on the 26th one. This should be
Woj is saying the Knicks are targeting French guard Pacome Didet.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Guards are targeting French guard Pacome.
They're stashing him in.
They're stashing him.
He's going to get stashed.
That's the inside New York Knicks target. I'm
he's getting stashed.
Stashing him? Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting stashed. Because I'm surprised he's picking somebody French. He's going to get booed like hell right now. If he is French.
I'm on NBA DraftNet right now, and he's not anywhere in the draft. 2 rounds, he's not even listed.
No, he's there. He's actually there.
What is he?
I've seen this kid before, Pacome Didet.
Oh, wait, I'm seeing him now. Okay, I see him.
He's in the crowd. Oh, the Knicks fans are going to be mad. Remember I said how you can't mess this up? They don't like nobody French. I've seen this.
Okay, I see him.
Yeah, I hear the boos.
210.
Heard the boos.
You're going to hear it. He's French. I didn't like
18. They might as well have selected Bronny. I'm just saying. This guy? He's 18 years old.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. This is for the future, not for now. And this is probably somebody saying, stash this kid over there, or maybe he plays the G League. He's tall though. He ain't that much.
What is he, like 6'8"?
He looks like Eric somewhere crying in the middle of City Field right now.
Yeah, Eric. Eric, listen, if you're say to you right now, Eric.
And John has missed all of his cornhole balls. Well, bags, whatever he throws. Because somebody French got selected, they're going to be nuts up in the thread. Believe you me.
Yeah, this is not. But once again, I think that Knicks fans were already looking to the players that are in place. I mean, honestly, I think, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm I'm not even caring. I mean, honestly, yes, it would be nice to take advantage of the. Sometimes you could be in such a great position that the New York Knicks were in, you mess up right now. And to me, this guy, I don't know. He doesn't look like a New Yorker. You could tell people who's New Yorkers who's ready to come out and
I'm thinking that. Well, I'm going to tell you this: if Tom Thibodeau had anything to say about it, he must can play. I just don't. He just looks. He's a kid. He's a kid, real kid. I don't know how that's supposed to work. Unless he's getting, he has to get stashed. I can't see him coming here and.
No, he's going to get stashed.
I mean, how's the kid's frame? How's his body? I mean, what is he? What's the weight look like? I mean,
he's skinny. He's a child. He looks not developed. He's in his kid body still. He is tall. He's 6'7". He said he has skills. I don't think his motor looks great. But, I mean, I got to watch more on him. I've watched some footage on him, but I never thought the Knicks would pick him. Not from what I saw, but.
Yeah.
He's got, maybe he has more than we know. He's a very – well, you got to think along these lines. The Knicks are talking about, when we talk about future picks, and the Knicks have surrendered a lot of future picks. You got to have something in the pipe, down the line of a talent you can develop when these guys get older. Maybe this is what this is about.
Yeah.
I can't see Tom Thibodeau and Walt Perrin is a very good talent evaluator, so I cannot see them not know it. Coach said he likes it. He says he likes it. Maybe he knows something we don't. Shout out to Coach.
What's up, Coach?
All right, so this next pick is ours too, right? This is Washington on the clock, and it's traded to the New York Knicks from what we are understanding. So do the Knicks go somewhere here with a proven player? That's what we should be looking at.
So this pick coming up right now by Washington is not Washington.
Yeah, so they're selecting for the Knicks. Yep. So it's just maneuvering. Sometimes teams will pay another team to, basically you draft him and we'll take him because that slot technically, it's about saving money when it comes to the Knicks. They're big about that last dollar. So Brock Aller's going to try to squeeze the last juice out of an orange to save a buck. So he'd rather trade back and get a talent than to stay in the slot that he's in. And it's probably saving him like 50 cents, but this has just been his MOs for a long time. So,
I mean, Filipowski is still man.
This makes me wonder about the Knicks. Like, what do they know if they're not trying to get a center here? Like, why are you not selecting? You've selected
There's no real centers left in this draft that are worth that pick.
What about the Kyle guy?
Filipowski is not a center. He's not going to be a center in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You have Khalil Ware went.
He went to Miami.
Went. Zach Edey went in the lottery. A lot of the first-round talent centers are gone. You can't turn nickels into quarters, man. Either the talent's there for the pick or not.
Yeah, that's for sure.
How does Richard Jefferson keep his head shiny all the show, the whole 2 hours, man? It's got to be tough.
I don't know, but I would pay money to see Zach Edey go over and sit on his head.
My wife just came in and said, I can't believe they can't even get into the movie theater. What are the Knicks doing? They're too young. I said, what are they doing?
What's up, Brenda?
She escaped. She went side left on exited the stage just now. She's like, what are you doing?
So what
are watching and say, what are you doing?
What do we have? Let me see. What pick is this?
Coach said, we'll love this guy. All right, Coach. Coach knows something we don't know. Really. Well,
I'm going to take your word for that, Coach.
Well, you know how it is with us, too, as Knicks fans. We always boo him. You're going to get booed one way or another. Maybe he is something. We'll see. Okay, so this pick is in, and this is technically the Knicks picking, although it says Washington. Who did they take? Dylan Jones out of Weber State. He's a forward at 6'4". Some of these picks don't make any sense if these are the Knicks picks. I'm just telling you. Yeah, anybody knows about Dylan Jones? He was the Big Sky Conference MVP. Well, no, this is being proposed that this trade is going to Oklahoma City. I'm confused about this Knicks thing. I'm very confused. So did the Knicks trade the 25th pick to Washington? This 26th pick is going to Oklahoma City. So it's been traded away. So they took the French kid, and the Knicks only took one pick then.
So is the French kid the Knicks pick right now?
He's the Knicks pick. The French kid is the Knicks pick. The other two picks, one is going to Oklahoma City, and the other one is going to obviously Washington. So the Knicks took the French kid.
So what did they get back from Oklahoma City?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. Why would you trade that to OKC for? Like the Knicks basically have one.
Maybe OKC's trading one of their many first-round draft picks and kicking it down the line for them.
That could be
trading 26 to Thunder. Yeah,
that was talked about, that the Knicks probably will try to recoup one of those picks.
Yeah. Kick the can down the road a little bit.
Down the road. I just don't know nothing about this kid. I don't want to prejudge him because he might be pretty good. But let's see. I'm trying to get some updates. Because every time we doubt what the Knicks do, they've come back and they've been excellent. So,
well, I still feel. I think the Knicks, like I said, they a lot of moving parts in this last couple of picks, and I think the Knicks. I think they'll be all right, man. It's just some of these last picks. I mean, I don't these names. I don't. They don't look the part. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, you never know.
Well, I think it's also you got to realize that when it comes down to Brock Aller, this is about cap moves more so than players. Being that the Knicks are now going to have a heavy cap load with the signing of OG Anunoby, also Mikal Bridges, although he's a smaller contract on 2 years. You know, now the Brunson upgrade, when that happens, you know, you're talking extension times now. They're futuristically saying we can't have certain amount of drafted players on our cap holes. So this is more financial than it is about talent with this team. Hence why you're probably seeing these second rounders who don't really get guaranteed contracts as much as a first rounder. So the Knicks are in belief, if we're following the tail here, really, we're almost nearing the end of the draft. So some of the talent the Knicks may want may be in the second round tomorrow, available where they can pick. So this might be why you're seeing the French kid and the other two picks getting, you know, maybe they have an inside on the fact that someone like a Ryan Dunn or like a Baylor, they're not going to get picked. Maybe they got the intel on that. Still to be determined. That's what we're going to leave that at.
Yeah, for sure.
So we don't know. They're trying to save money. Someone is reporting that what they were saying about saving money, this is as of Knicks News. That's one of the people on Twitter. It says, could the Hartenstein returning still be a possibility? I think it's about the idea of them trying to save money. I don't know.
Gotta let Hartenstein chill. He got to be hard to me. I don't know. I just like his game. I like his game, and to trade him to any other team, I think would be just terrible, because you know Hartenstein's going to be a good player wherever he goes. I mean, he's just a hard worker. He plays the game of basketball. He does the little things. I mean, I don't know. Every game I've seen him play, he just plays hard.
Yeah. Let me give you an update on the Knicks sending that pick out to OKC. The Knicks are receiving back 5 second-round picks.
5 second
Five second-round picks.
5 second-round picks for Dylan Jones at number 26.
Oh,
okay. That's a very Knick move.
Wow.
They draft well in the in the second round, so this is not chop. Yep, five second round picks for Dylan Jones.
5 second round picks.
That's a smart move.
That's huge. They won.
Yep.
Wow.
You know, it's funny. The last time that we traded a draft pick also was to OKC for 3 first rounds.
Yep.
Now, granted, 2 of them are never going to convey, but
exactly.
just traded the Milwaukee one out. So somebody valued that.
And Coach is saying this right then. Hold on. I'm sorry, Coach. I got the stuff. It says done. Fall into
the second round.
That is the
we could scoop him up at 38, maybe.
Yep. Unless he gets picked somewhere, which I don't think, given what they say about his shooting, I think people are going to be reluctant. We will need those picks when we are above the apron. Absolutely, Coach. You got that. You nailed that, brother.
All right. So none of those second rounders are in this draft.
Nope. So what do we got 30 picks, I think, in the first round, right? So we are nearing the first round. The Knicks may be sitting at the great spot because they have the 38th. And they have, I don't know who those second rounds, I don't know if there's some for this year or.
No. Oklahoma said he doesn't have any second rounders in this year. So they're all going to be future second rounders.
But they could offer them to someone else for future. 5 second rounds for 1 pick. That's a lot of picks when I think about that.
I know.
They're always wheeling and dealing, man. I'm telling you, the Knicks.
But they've got so many picks sitting there. I mean, I forget the actual numbers, but when you hear the actual numbers of what Sam Presti has as far as future picks, it's absolutely shocking. Minnesota's picking Terrence Shannon. That's a good pick.
Yeah, he's a 5th-year senior. He's a 5th-year.
I'm hoping that he has that. The allegations are not, are very true. That he's absolved.
Yeah,
Anthony and him could be mud and water. I don't know. That could be kind of tricky. But they got personalities, is my point.
Yeah, you can see it in his eye. He
looks the part of that he can be a problem.
Yeah.
But man, if some of these guys don't get picked, we're gonna have a pretty fantastic day tomorrow. Because the Knicks are gonna get a lot of what they want on very cheap contracts.
Yeah.
Because Kolek has not been picked yet.
No.
So now we're talking about the Knicks maybe needing I think Dante will probably be
Johnny Furphy hasn't been picked.
Furphy not.
Isaiah Collier hasn't been picked.
Yo, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this kid that just got picked, he has a lot of legal problems, bro.
I think he was absolved of that recently.
He was absolved. He did have some.
His name was mentioned. You can read. To me, you can put it to the side and all that, but once your name is mentioned, sexual assault and other, I get it, but I'm just saying he got a lot of problems, man. Like it sounds like,
I would be reluctant. I'm not saying he can't change, but the reason why they didn't have enough evidence, that's really what it came down to. It wasn't that he was guilty or not guilty. They didn't have enough evidence to prove he was guilty. But, I just think it's just weird. Don't put yourself in those situations. So Denver's on the clock now.
But they traded that pick to whoever they moved up for with Teron Holmes. It was
Holmes. So this is going to who was it that took Holmes? So Ryan Dunn is now going. He was selected by Denver, so he's off the board. No Dunn. Dunn is done.
Dunn is done.
Dunn is done. Dunn got selected by Denver, and we know that's being traded back to Phoenix. So Freeport in the house.
Freeport, New York?
Yeah, he's from Freeport. Yeah, he's from Freeport. He worked out for the Knicks a lot. The Knicks were the ones they talked about wanting to draft him. He's clearly a Tom Thibodeau type of player because he's an elite defender. However, the issue with him is the fact that I shoot better than him for what he
can't throw the ball in the ocean.
Yep. They told me at the combine my game was better than his. So this is where we are.
He looks very emotional, which is always a good sign. He looks like a good young man. Ryan Dunn, I don't know much about him.
Great defender. He's elite. So pitcher OG Anunoby, but pitcher he shoots like Rodman. In a league that needs shooting. I can't even say that because Rodman decided not to score.
Yeah.
See Rodman score when he wanted to. We're talking about what's that guy that was in Oklahoma City they had? I can't even think of his name. This is like Thibault, I guess, also from Philly, who's not a great offensive player, but they said this kid airballs, even free throws. He shot 20% from three-point line. He's not good. So it's a mixed bag with Dunn. He's you got to develop him. He's not fully on board yet as a two-way player. So this works for Phoenix because if he's just there to block shots and rebounds, Phoenix needs all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So this works for them because he won't need to score in Phoenix. He just needs to do his job, which is defend and rebound. So it works out.
They got plenty of people that can put the ball in the hole in Phoenix.
Yeah, so he becomes the ultimate role player. It's just down the stretch how you're going to use him if you got to keep him on the floor and he can't score. I've not seen the footage of the scoring issues. It's just that every expert that comes up talks about how bad of a scorer he is. So all those doctors can't be wrong if everyone keeps saying the same thing like he shoots terribly or putrid or whatever word.
This is typical Knicks. The Knicks have turned 2 first-round picks into a first-round pick and 6 second-round picks.
Yep.
Wow.
Typical Knicks.
Who's on the clock next?
Utah Jazz.
They're going to take Kolek.
That would make a lot of sense right here.
They're going to take Kolek.
Because who's their point guard? I don't want to say
Sexton.
Sexton was coming off the bench at one point. Who was starting for them?
I got you. Utah Jazz. Yeah, you got Clark. Let me see. Starting guard. Let me see. Clark. You got Clarkson. You got Dunn.
Collier. No, Isaiah Collier is going to. It's Isaiah Collier.
Yeah, he dropped. He fell.
Yeah, he is a guard from USC.
He's a point guard, too.
Wow. This draft has been a very weird draft, given when we look at.
I expected more trades. I expected a lot more fireworks and more stuff that was going to happen personally.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I just thought it would be a little bit more movement. Just a lot of parity. I didn't see one player that jumped off the or BJ Armstrong is his agent.
This guy, man,
he doesn't look happy, man. I wouldn't be happy to be going to Utah either.
Yeah, that tan ain't gonna work well for him.
No, that ain't a place I'd want to live.
29th pick. Pick before the last pick, right? There's one more pick left.
And Boston's on the clock. Oh man, this is gonna be terrible.
What, 30?
Boston's taking Baylor. You know this. They're taking Baylor. They're taking Baylor. He worked out for them. The rich gonna get richer right now. I don't know the pick yet, but all indications they're gonna take Baylor.
Who's up now? I mean, who's up? Boston on the clock, 30th pick?
Boston's on the click.
Is this the last pick?
This is the last pick, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, no. They're 29th. No, they're 30th, and then Toronto's 31, and then 32 Utah again. So there's 3 more picks in the first round. Boston's taking they're definitely taking Baylor. That's in my opinion. Unless they take a big, which I don't know. Sherman, this guy he has another game calling. Isaiah Collier. He's at 29th. Yeah, Boston's going to take. This is just disgusting. Like they needed to get another shooter who can knock down stuff. This is I would be very shocked if it's not what's his name, Baylor Sherman. But we've seen stranger stuff happen.
Yeah.
But them giving them another 3-point shooter is not great for anybody in the league.
No.
You would think that sometimes if people would strategically like take some players and say, well, let's just keep them from that team. You know, especially when it's this late in the round. Why would you want to give the champions another shot at a great talent? I just will never understand that. But this could be Tyler Kolek. That could happen. Or Baylor Sherman.
Could also be Filikowski.
Yep. They do need some size. They need to have some sort of backup to KP because we know he's going to be out at least 35 to 40 games.
Yeah, he's on the OG plan.
Yeah. I like to check and get the crutches. That's literally what that comes down to. Oh, these little pompous little Celtic fans. Go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of this draft was really
yeah.
Different.
It was different, man. This was not. I mean, the Knicks. I don't want to say it was deflating. It's just more so what's par for the course for us. It's always a trade away to get extra assets down the line. That's what we're seeing right now. But
it's smart. It's smart front office work, but it does make for exciting watching.
Yeah. Especially when you're about 3 hours waiting for it.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, let's make this
we're 3 hours and 15 minutes, right?
Yep. The clock is ticking, and it's been underwhelming. I think it was. Well, I guess we're also at a different point in our lives too with the Knicks, is that we're good. So, as opposed to the other years, we were waiting to maybe hit the lottery, maybe have some luck, maybe find that diamond in the rough. Well, when you're playing for a title now, it's a little bit different. So,
man, I can't wait for the season to start now.
Coach is asking, did we trade the French kid? I don't think so, Coach. I think
no.
We kept the French kid. And we traded our pick, which was hold on, let me tell you.
We sent him back to France, but we sent him Coach.
They traded Dylan Jones, Coach. That's who they traded. So Dylan Jones was the kid that got traded, and that was the trade that went to OKC for the 5 second rounders. I think we're keeping Frenchie, and wait, hold on, I don't know. The 26 was the French. Was the hold on, let me check that right. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like he's getting stashed, probably. That idiot, whatever his name. The diet, that's what his name is, DADIET.
Yeah.
He might get, people are speculating he might get stashed. But he is a Knick, though, from what I can tell still. We have not shipped him off. What pick was he? Was he the 26th pick, though?
He was the 25th pick.
25th. Okay, so yeah. I think we're keeping him. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Did we not trade that other pick to Washington?
We did trade the other pick to Washington.
That pick did go to Washington, right?
We traded 24 to Washington.
Okay, there we go. Okay. So we're now sitting here with the 26th pitch, which is Lacombe the Dadi, I guess is what it is.
Yeah, I can't pronounce French names.
Yeah.
I have a better time doing calculus.
And so we basically got 1 player and 5 second-round picks. What I told you, he's taking
6 second-round picks because we also got the second-round pick at 50 in this draft for trading out of 24.
Boston did Baylor Sherman, like I told you. That's what they told me.
We got the second-round pick for trading with Washington at 24 at 50. And then when we traded 26, we got 5 second-round picks. So we got 6. We accumulated 6 more second-round picks.
So
There
Baylor
you go.
Shyman's going to Boston, as I predicted.
You called it.
Yep.
Big kid, knockdown shots, typical Boston type player.
Stretch defense. I like him.
Yeah, this is an excellent pick for them. This is a win pick.
Yeah, and the wing you were looking for. I mean, I like, as they say, dynamic shooter, wing, stretches the defense, and I think he's an older player as well.
Yeah, he's a I think he's 4-year college player. Like I said, in these test kitchens of the NBA teams, he hit 85 out of 100 3-point shots.
He's got beautiful form on his shot.
Beautiful,
I'm just watching tape on him right now.
They've won the lottery on that one, and they weren't even in the damn lottery. They got
why didn't we draft that kid?
I have no idea.
Probably got lost in the shuffle. I mean, to be honest with you, under the radar, people knew about him.
No, they worked him out. The Knicks worked him out.
Okay.
They worked him out. They worked out anybody who was a senior, basically, because that's what the Knicks do. Tom Thibodeau wants three-plus year players. So he was worked out. That's why this French kid is weird, because I'm like, he's a baby.
He's a draft-in stash. They'll check in on him in 4 years.
Okay, check on him like they did. What's his name? Rokas
Jokovitis.
He's another guy that they could bring over. Whether he's coming over is another story. He said he's going to play summer league, but he's also playing for his team, his home country now. So we don't know if he's going to actually come in or not.
I like that kid. He looks like he plays angry.
Yeah, Coach Dunn got picked by Denver, but he's going to Phoenix.
All right, that's the first round, guys.
Is it? Or was that it?
That's the first round.
First
that was
round.
the wrap?
But we
want what was the thoughts of anybody? So we can wrap this up. Obviously, we've been here. Big Ben has lost his clock watch. We've been here so long.
Listen. This is what we do. And
Yes,
if we can't do a draft first round, and I literally pushed the clock tonight, but I mean, we talk sports all year and we talk Knicks, but see, I'm already saying we talk Knicks, and
you're being indoctrinated, John.
That's kind of giving me the side eye, but we talk.
The French is coming out of you. That's what he's saying. We drafted.
Yeah. But I think the Knicks, overall have positioned themselves in this draft to be very successful. Once again, Joseph, you touched on it, Ty touched on it, Eric as well. New York Knicks were right in it, even when they had the injuries. Bronson seemed like the Energizer Bunny, just kept coming, and I think that the Knicks, to me, I mean, and I'm not just saying because I'm here. They have the best. They came off the best. Now you have 6 more picks in the second round. You got to be a certain dog, though, like you said, to even be a New York Knicks. So that's just my whole take on the draft. Knicks have a very successful draft.
There you go. What do you think, Joe? What's your conclusion after enduring the one pick that we got? But
my conclusion is my ass hurts from sitting in the seat for 3 hours and 20 minutes. But I'm still riding a high from OG signing and the Mikal Bridge trade and everything like that. And again, I think that there was some value in some players that were left there, but obviously the front office didn't. I think again, we made good, sensible trades and accumulated some assets. Because the Lord knows that we gave up a bunch of assets the other day, So we are in asset accumulation mode again. But, a drafted stash player, that's always a good thing. I didn't expect too much going into this draft because of what this draft was and where we were poised for it. So, it's always good, being on the show, talking with John, talking with you.
Appreciate you.
It's always a good thing. We had some It had nice flow, I think, tonight. We filled a lot of content for a lot of time. There was a lot to talk about, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love basketball. I love talking it, obviously. So to me, this is always greatly entertaining, especially when you got people with the same energy and same fervor for the game. It's beautiful. Um, yeah, just to kind of piggyback, the Knicks won outside of the draft
Yeah.
these last 2 days, and it's a good time to be a New York Knicks fan, absolutely. And this kid, whether I'm on the show, he got booed, just like that's the tradition. But there's a great chance you weren't going to play anyway, no matter what who they drafted, because there's a heavy pecking order in New York.
Mm.
You do have to be a dog to get inside the kennel, and some of these players are probably just not ready at this point, especially if they're young and unproven. But overall, just a great night. Obviously, talking basketball. Great night to talk about, like I said, our future. Definitely getting these extra picks is definitely a great thing, and we still have tomorrow. Not that we're going to be live, but there's a second round to this. The Knicks do have the 38th pick and the 51st pick, so I'm more than sure that that's usually where the Knicks tend to do their great work, is in the second round, in the latter part of these lotteries. The draft, I should say, not the lottery. This is where they make their money. The Brock Allers of the world, they tend to make their money for the Knicks because they're more important people that we have on this team. Mitchell Robinson, a second rounder, although he was the prior regime. We see Deuce McBride, developing into something wonderful over the playoffs. So, do keep that in mind, that it's not over until it's over, really, with the Knicks, because the second round is usually where they find the jewels. And a guy like Rokas, although not here, he's playing in the EuroLeague, and he was also a second rounder. Jericho Sims, a second rounder. He was the end of the draft. So these have been players that the Knicks have brought in that have been, they've worked in the system. They kind of know what they're doing when they get to this point. So, we might be mad at the first round. I'm not, but some may be discouraged by it. But just the history of what's happening recently in the last 3 years, we're in a good place. So we're going to conclude, because we're old men. We can't do this like this. I drink 2 bottles of Gatorade while sitting here. It's just we're in the stretch, man.
Yeah, man. I got a big day tomorrow. I got my wife's birthday coming up tomorrow.
Send my love and blessings to her on her birthday and well wishes. Got any plans? Good plans? You gonna go eat? We're gonna
go do sushi, I think, tomorrow.
All right. My wife would join you. I would not. But hey, she loves it. I don't. All right, whatever. Well, I died late to decide.
We were actually talking today. I got a friend that lives out on the North Fork.
Oh, okay.
Next time we go out and visit, we got to maybe hook up with you and Brenda, maybe get a bite to eat. We like to eat like you guys like to eat. So.
Oh, yeah. We get it in. So you just let me know and I'll be there. I'll have a bib on and everything. Might be a dip. I don't know. I bring my mouth and the bib to the table. That's for sure. So we'll be all good with that. But yeah, so what we're going to do is wrap this up. I want to thank Jonathan for 2 on me. He is the by proxy stand-in / official member still by proxy. We're going to figure out. We're going to get you a Knick hat or something. We got to get you something. But
yeah, please.
It's always great having you on. Your energy is
the pleasure's been ours, man.
We have a great time, and this is just good vibes. Man.
Good. It's good talk all the time, man.
Man. We're going to do more of this, man. So just be prepared. So everybody knows where you can find. We're going to give it to Jonathan. Tell them where they can find you all the time. I know where to find you, but they need to know where.
Yes, you can find me in the wooded area. On the low. Now, everything is put to on me. Put2onme.com is the website. We also do sportswear manufacturing for sportswear. Put2 on me YouTube, PUT the number 2 on me, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Just a multi-sport platform, podcasts, sports promotion, sports education as well, and just continuing to grow the platform. And thank you to the All Knicked Up podcast crew for just bringing me on and helping me expand the reach of Put2 on me. So I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you too. Every time you've come on, you've nailed it. We've had a great time, and that's what it's always about. We're all smiles and being joking and just enjoying each other's company. And then that's really what it is. We often talk about the style of the show. It should be friends talking about sports and having a good old time about it. And that's what you bring that feel to it. I've known you for a while, but it's good to see the other brethren around here actually enjoy you the same way I've always enjoyed it, and love you for it. Joe, tell them where they can find you at. We know where they can find you too, but you just tell them.
Where you be, Joe?
Okay, you can find me on X at Upstate Joe, AKU for all Knicked Up, and you can find me on the fan page.
There you go. Well, you do good work there also, and Joe loves engaging and posting articles as well. Get at him. He's rotator cuff Joe now. I don't know. He got adamantium in his veins now. He's just healing up. Wolverine, watch out.
Yeah, baby.
That people don't know what he's in for. I'm just trying to tell you, this is the real Wolverine right here. You guys know you can always find me, obviously, on here. We'll have Eric back at some point hosting as well. Come back and do his damn job. That's what he's supposed to get paid to do, although he does it for free. But, we miss you, E. Come back. And we're trying to hide out. Send in instructions from afar talking about the host. So I got something for you. We'll just leave it alone. But anyway, you guys can always find me on the All Knicked Up fan page. I'm always in there trying to hit you guys up with any kind of new information regarding the Knicks. Just back and forth stuff. I'm trying to start writing a couple more articles. We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
I'm a busy man, but, you got to make time for the plan, so that's how it is. But anyway, Coach, shout out to you. You've been a member since we didn't even have members, so let's let you know how long you've been along. But it's great always seeing you. You make sure you chime in with us, and that's always a wonderful thing. We had quite a few viewerships tonight, which is absolutely a wonderful thing. That means that it's growing for all of us, and we try to put the hard work in and make it entertaining for you as much as possible. And it's pretty good that we did 3.5 hours, and it was somewhat entertaining, and we kept your attention. So just want to thank you all for the support of the channel. Like I said, put 2 on me. Make sure you check out my boy. He's very crafty with his work. He put in that work. He's a solo act, but he act like he's got all the new edition behind him singing the background music. He knocks it out.
I appreciate you, man.
I'm just trying to tell you, you got the dances and everything, but he's just all the dances. Yeah, I mean, this step back. All right, I ain't gonna do it. Anyway, much love to you guys. Much love to our audience, and we'll be back, and we'll be updating you. Well, I'll be updating you at least tomorrow on what the draft, the second round is. So stay tuned. Be diligent, be blessed, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Tyran, and we're out.
Peace.